A weem away, a weem away, a weem away, a weem away, a weem away.
The lion wakes tonight.
Well, it looks like subtlety's out of the bag because I think we can expect Mr. Lionel Johnson to be rolling up here in about, 15, 30 minutes?
Yeah. There are some other theories out there about what it could be. Potentially Chronicles of Narnia tabletop wargaming experience.
That's where my money's at. I'm almost positive that's what it is.
That's got some good odds, man. If you're right, you're going to take home the bank. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special preview episode of Slam Sector. We're doing the booth thing again. We're here in our fancy threads and ready to sip some midnight brew and watch what new models we're going to spend too much money on.
Mark Gerst says nice jackets.
Thank you.
Oh, but yeah, so we'll be seeing, man. I don't know. I think I need to make sure that I don't buy a whole new army from this stream because that's my biggest concern, right? I'm going to see some cool stuff and I'm going to freak out and just crack that wallet ready.
You're going to join us on the Dark Angels side?
I don't know if Matt's ready to go trader yet.
You know what? Next time somebody says that to me during a game, I'm gonna bust out my Chaos Space Marine Codex and start using strats from that too.
That's what's up, dude. I would. What if home rule? If we go just really off fucking reserve here, you can use Chaos stratagems, but they cost double on CP.
No, they cost normal CP. If I'm Chaos Space Marines, then I can just use those stratagems, right?
That's what's up.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be going Dark Angels, but let me turn my phone off real quick. I can't make any promises that I won't start a new army after seeing this stream tonight.
That's totally fair, man. Hey, you know what would be cool? Because you know how Lionel Johnson, right, he's kind of been doing stuff all over the Imperium Nihilist, reading the books, all that stuff. And with Guilliman, we see him in the rules able to join into non-Ultramarines, Space Marines things, right? So he's running around with like other boys out there. I wonder if Liney J is going to be able to do the same.
Liney J.
Liney J.
There's a new name for him. Do we know for sure that the lion has been out and about? Because like
he's asleep right now.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, like I'm wondering if like on the rules side they're going to let him run around with like an Iron Hand successor chapter.
I heard some theories that Vashtor is going to like bust into where he's at and he's just going to be gone. Like he has been out. I've heard there's a theory that like he has been out and about doing stuff, which is why there was all that plant stuff mentioned in the first Arcs of Omen book because they're like, that was like Lionel Johnson, Caliban, weird shit, you know?
Damn, that'd
but
be crazy.
Vashtor got to the rock, but he never made it into the interior because Bellicor came out and screwed up all his
started
plans.
whooping him. Yeah.
There's still another chance.
Yeah.
There is possibly another chance.
Mm-hmm. I want some ne'er-do-well to get into like his like hyperbolic isolation chamber, and then it's just that gif of the Undertaker waking up, you know, just WWE like boom.
Looks over.
That's what I want. I want whatever the fucking 40K version of that is. That would be amazing.
So do you think that they will also release like a Luther model? Because Luther has escaped. We know that.
Yeah.
He's out there, and he's mustering a huge fallen fleet.
I'm hoping that this means that they're going to release a Fallen supplement. Because they took Fallen out of the CSM book. They voided the old Fallen supplement from White Dwarf. So now Fallen currently don't have any rules, but we do still have Cypher.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Cypher's kicking around.
I might make a Fallen force. I don't know. I've been toying with that idea for a while.
You've been toying with a lot.
Hey, man.
We toy here, baby. Look behind us. We're nothing but men of toys, right?
But I want to say the system that Luther was supposedly in, Vashtor had some business that he was planning there too. So maybe I can't remember. I might be mixing up my threads here. I've watched a lot of videos lately, but
I need to actually read these suckers, but I just don't feel like spending $60 a pop for like a comic book. You know, it's like a graphic novel.
The Vashtor Angron books. Yeah.
I mean, they're awesome. I bought the first one because it was so cool, and I was obsessed with boarding actions. And I read it, and I was like, whoa! And then like it was like another $60 for like the next 3 chapters. No.
You just need to rent them at the Slam Sector Library.
Yeah, the Slam Sectorium Librarium.
Yeah.
So Ashton's in chat, and he says, My theory is that the Lion is going to show up and reunify the Dark Angels with the Fallen. Maybe Cypher will show up and give him his sword back.
That's a big...
Man.
That's a bold prediction.
I don't think there's ever been redemption for someone falling to chaos.
Yeah,
excuse me, we have the Angels of Redemption.
Oh, okay. That's not quite the level of like a Chaos Primarch coming back into the fold, but it's close, I feel like. Although there were moments in some of the stories, I want to say with some of the Chaos Primarchs where they were like connecting with the Emperor after they had like gone to Chaos, and the Emperor was like, yeah, you could still come back.
I mean, Magnus, right?
Yeah.
Magnus was like...
I want to say
trying his
with
best.
Mortarion, there was a moment, or was it Perturab? I can't remember. I haven't read any of the modern 40k books. I'm still slogging through the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, so there's like, I want to say it's the second or the third book of Dark Imperium is where Mortarion like gets absolutely dunked on in the Garden of Nurgle, like by an avatar of the Emperor or some shit. Or was it Gilliman? Was it Gilliman that does it, like, directly?
Doesn't the Emperor, like, infuse Gilliman with power at some point?
Yeah, there's some kind of
that's what
flowery
happens.
thing happening. I need to actually read that book because it sounds dope as hell. I've read multiple excerpts of it on, what's it called, 40k lore subreddit, but...
Yeah, I've read some synopses, and, like, I've listened to people talk about it. If I remember right, Gilliman gets infused with, like, Emperor power and wrecks the garden.
Makes sense. He's running around with his sword, right?
Yeah, he's got the Flaming Sword of the Emperor, which that thing does some crazy stuff. Or the Emperor does some crazy stuff with that thing in the Horus Heresy.
I got a feeling it's like, 1% of its power is unlocked by Gilliman versus the Emperor, who's like, it slices, it dices, it atomizes heretics. So,
but yeah, we got the Lion coming. We've got something involving Tyranids and Terminators, which may or may not be talked about. I'm confident.
think it has to be, man. Quote, Games Workshop, give this brutal Hulk some space to deal with the Xenos infestation. Come on. All right.
Something Lion related, whether it's Narnia, the Dark Angels, or the Celestial Lions getting an army box, is happening tonight, I feel like.
Now here's a spicy question for the room. And chat, weigh in. What army would you play in a Narnia game system?
I don't know if I know enough about Narnia.
I don't know anything about the Narnia faction.
I would go hard. Whatever that lady that's cranking out Turkish Delight is, I would just spam as many of her.
Queen, Ice Witch, whatever her name is.
Yeah, the Ice Queen. Yeah, I'd try to bring like fucking 3 of them or whatever.
Have you ever tasted Turkish Delight?
Yeah.
It's kind of gross.
What is Turkish Delight?
It's like a gelatinous cube that's like hella dusted. Okay, it reminds me of like a firmer mochi. You know what I mean? But it's sweeter. But also apparently there's like multiple versions of Turkish Delight that like it changes based on like the region. There's like types.
It's got to be pretty good to make somebody like betray their family.
I know, man. I mean, also an Ice Witch is making it, so like
okay, so in context for like why he betrayed his family just because of Turkish Delight.
We going to get some Narnia lore drop here.
You have to remember that movie took place like during wartime Britain.
That's right.
True.
So
that's
like
true.
they probably didn't have great food, and they were like
they didn't have any delights
shit.
of any kind.
Dude,
And
I mean,
so, yeah.
straight up, that's kind of like that whole, like the guys who are seeing the shadows on the wall, that like old Greek thing, the puppets, and then you bring them out into the world, and they're just like, what?
The allegory of the cave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can do a lot with a population to betray their own kind if they've never tasted sugar before. Or like, oh shit, you put a VR headset on them? Like, imagine taking like a farmer from the 1500s and putting a VR headset on him and having him play like Beat Saber. Dude, you get him to stab the Pope.
Simulator VR.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, you could make him stab the Pope. He'd think he went to like heaven.
Yeah, we've gone way off track here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slam Sect. Tonight we're reviewing the Adepticon 2023 Warhammer previews. Online and starting soon, so I hear. Yeah.
That's what they're telling us.
So Matt's convinced that the Terminator Tyranid thing is going to be some sort of new Space Hulk.
I think
it's definitely Space Hulk related somehow.
I think it's going to be a Space Hulk themed box set with the new Terminators and like some new Tyranids that is also like a starter box for 10th edition and has like each side is like a boarding patrol sized. Because that could be a decent box set.
I don't think we're so here's the thing. The reveals are covering all the game systems, right? You got to think that they're slicing and dicing up a little bit of stuff, right? Like there was one reveal that didn't get as much hotness that was like a Tzeentchian book with the Tzeentch logo, barely cracked open. And a lot of people think that either Age of Sigmar or Warcry or whatever the card game is with the hex on the board, Underdeep or something.
Underworld.
Underworld, yeah. People think that there's going to be some Tzeentchian stuff with that, right? So they got to like spread it around. And in my opinion, they can't load up 10th edition with, or they can't load up 40K with A, 10th edition, B, Space Hulk, C, the Lion. It's just like a lot because that's some like really hella hard drops, right?
I would agree if it wasn't specifically on the Warhammer 40K website.
Yeah.
See, like the website has been, the Warhammer 40,000 website has been taken over by that image.
Yeah.
And just text that says new website coming March 23rd.
That's valid.
Yeah.
Which is tomorrow, by the way.
I think that like we're pretty confident that the new Terminators are coming. People have been talking about new Terminator models for a while.
Yeah.
So if they're coming out with these new Terminator models, they can make a release around that for 40K. They can do something around that for Kill Team. And they can do something around that for like boarding actions, which is technically 40K.
Yeah.
And all of that can be, like, especially the Kill Team stuff, could have like a Space Hulk theme to it.
That's fair. Current internet scuttlebutt grapevine chicanery is saying something along the lines of Kill Team is going to be dwarves versus Votann.
You mean Votann?
Yeah, Votann dwarves. Squats. Oh man, who were they versus? Do you remember seeing this?
I missed this one.
Okay.
Was it orcs?
I don't think it's orcs. It's like something else, and I'm not gonna bother digging into it on my phone because it's somewhere. But like, I'll be honest with you. My favorite thing to do if I like can't sleep at night and I just like I want a case of the giggles, I'll get on Daka and I'll look at the unconfirmed rumors and leaks thread, and it's like the Wild West in there. People are like, D12s are coming.
You say Daka?
Yeah.
I say Daka.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Daka. We can't be friends.
Let us know in chat or in the comments how you say Daka.
Man, I've been reading Daka.com since like.
Sounds so weird to me.
Since you just crashed my brain. Since like high school.
Yeah,
that website's been kicking for a long time.
It goes way back. And all those posts are still there. Like, you can go back and start digging in there, and people are like, 5th edition's fucked up. The company's not going to make it. It's so good, dude.
Yeah, no, they've got us. They're always going to make it.
Listen, I get it, man. I get it. I got a shameful amount of plastic at home. I'm trying to do the thing now where, like, if I'm not going to paint it, like, post-haste, I leave it on the shelf at the store, right? I'm trying to keep my pile of shame at the store. But certain things, you just can't help yourself. Like, I'll tell you one just struggle that I'm just having, right, is the Death Guard boarding patrol box, right? Comes with 10 Plague Marines, 3 Shadow, not Shadow, but Death Shroud Terminators, and 1 Lord of Virulence, right?
Don't you have like 3,000 points of Death Guard?
Yeah, I do. So here's the problem. I have all of that multiple times over. Literally, the only thing that would be nice is a 3rd unit of Death Shroud. But the normal box of Plague Marines comes with 7 dudes, but there's 10 in there. And you want to know how those other 3 are filled out. It's the limited release that happened early in 8th edition called Death Guard Plague Marine Reinforcements. They have unique sculpts that you weren't able to get outside of like $80 on this thing. So I'm looking at this $115 box, and I'm like, dude.
Sounds like you need to get it.
Man, for 3 sculpts and a bunch of stuff that I want, I don't know.
I contemplated buying a Dark Eldar Battle Force the other day just to get the Ravager because they didn't have any Ravagers in the store.
I mean, shit.
And like, yeah, I could order stuff online, but I like supporting my local game stores.
I hear you, man. I hear you. You gotta put your money where your dice roll. You know what I'm saying?
Tony Wilkie says Ducka.
Tony,
out.
Strike 2. You know what you did. All right.
But yeah, so I'm pretty excited for this.
It's gonna be good.
We'll just have to see
I
what
sure
happens.
wish the stream would start. That would be cool.
Yeah, when is that supposed to start?
Soon.
2 minutes ago.
Oh!
Well, you know, if you factor in the core...
Oh,
here we go.
Should we be hearing the stream?
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, crank that shit a little bit.
I am Eddie, and I'm joined today by Mike, and we.
Let me know if this gets too loud for you guys.
No, you're doing good. You can bump it up even a little further.
Again, and it's
here in
been
the
such
turn.
an
Mostly
energizing
chat.
evening. Adepticon is one of those founding events of the independent scene. It's one of the largest Warhammer events in the world. It is run by a passionate group of volunteers and folks who just love everything that is Warhammer, and we get to see over 1,000 of them in the room here and share everything we're about to go through with everyone on the line. I'm buzzing at the chance to get to do it again.
It was really, really fun. So we've just had the preview for the people at the event. We had, as you say, 1,000 people, 1,000 Warhammer fans.
1,100.
1,100, and some other people kind of around the edges. Really, really cool. Some awesome stuff we get to show off, and we get to show you guys who are watching along on the stream all that stuff in just a few minutes. I can see there's about 30,000 of you currently tuned in to watch us.
Given the fact that it's like 3 a.m. in some of our core demographic here of this for this show.
Absolutely, yeah. So do let us know where you're tuning in from, guys. It's about, I think, 3 or 4 in the morning over in the UK. It's still pretty late over here in the US as well.
It's pretty late in the US. We're here at Central Time. It's already past 10. Eddie here was probably still getting over the jet lag. You were in the UK just yesterday.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we had an interesting flight over. It was not without incident, but it's all good. We're
you
here now.
visited many cities on your way to Chicago.
Yeah, well, I can already see in the chat we've got loads of people. It's going flying by so fast. We've got the UK. There's some people, loads of the US, Denmark, Europe, China, all sorts of places. So the Shire I see in there as well. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We've got a really, really cool show. We've got loads of.
Yo, what are the rings reveals?
I don't know if we're getting any louder models, man.
If you guys have got any theories or any things you're particularly looking forward to seeing, let us
D12s.
know in the chat. Some
Yeah,
might come
D12.
Yeah, dude, D12.
40K is moving to a D12 system.
Oh, dude.
Yo, Diablo 4 open beta?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
hey,
might
let's
be
all
able
get
to
double
answer some
downs and eat them on
questions. The chat is
stream.
going so fast
Mukbang
at the moment.
style.
You don't,
You might not be able to see
I won't do a
the
mukbang.
but we'll
That's
do our
against
best if any kind of
my
repeat questions popping
creed.
up, we might be able to cover them as well. So,
Also,
Mike,
you don't
before
need one for
we
that.
dive in, Adepticon obviously a huge part of the event scene.
An inspirational part of the scene, frankly.
For Warhammer, you are
should go to a
Mr.
Adepticon.
Events.
I was about to
for
say.
Warhammer.
I want to make it starting next year a yearly
all
thing
of us
for us.
who come to
Adepticon would be dope. Nova's supposed to be rad. And we know
really
LVOs.
inspired me into the sort of event side of the hobby. It inspired me to run events of my own. It inspired me in how I've approached Warhammer when it comes to engaging with the community in person. And events like this are really a representation of the community itself. And the community is really Warhammer. Without the community, Warhammer is nothing. And without Warhammer, we wouldn't be lucky enough to have this community. And it's really writ large here at an event like Adepticon. If you've never had a chance to go, I recommend it. It doesn't matter where you are. There are people who come from all over the world to attend. And it's sort of the godfather of the independent event scene. Adepticon existed before them all. And so it's been great to see it grow over the years. And I think this is the 20th year that they've been doing it, the 18th Adepticon. And my ears are ringing from the enthusiasm and the joy that was here in the room. And it was palpable from the moment that folks started to walk in. I really can't do it justice by sharing about it verbally. I have to encourage folks, take a look at the coverage over the next few weeks on WarCom as we post the various different images and whatnot. And if you've never made the journey yourself to the Mecca that is Adepticon, make it 1 year. Come say hi to us. Eddie and I will be on stage, I'm sure, year in, year out, and telling you all about the latest reveals. And I think it's getting close to the time that we should probably...
I think we should probably show them some stuff.
Yeah,
all the good people have tuned in. It's stupid o'clock in the morning some places, so we should probably let them see some cool things.
The boys
We've
are
got a pretty
thirsty.
Good one to open, so shall we
Say,
roll,
man, I'm
roll
turning
the first
blue.
I suppose.
The state of the galaxy, the Dark Angels, the Arcs of Omen series has led to the brink.
Oh, here we go.
Abaddon has sent out the Arcs of Omen, Vashtor the Archifane is now at large, and Angron is on a rampage, and there's perhaps one character in the entire galaxy who could stand against Angron. That's the line.
Holy
Lionel Johnson
shit!
is the Primarch of the Dark
Oh,
Angels,
that looks so
Dark Angels
sick.
Legion, and now he is the returned Primarch
hide
of the
him.
Dark Angels chapter.
Oh,
Returning
what a
Primarchs
good
are a
fucking
big
model.
deal. The return of Rabute Gilliman, that was an era-defining moment for the inhabitants of the 41st millennium and for fans of the 41st
Love the
millennium.
fucking
Doesn't happen
stash.
very often, and this is the second
standing on a
opportunity
chapel.
in my lifetime, certainly, to see a living Primarch return.
He's been deep in the rock for thousands of years. All is lost to chaos. But this is where the lion appears. And this is where he makes his stand
Dude.
as a
Holy
light in the
shit.
dark. as a knight.
Oh, the
standing
little watcher.
The Watchers!
As a feral
Oh,
youth on
shit.
a forested world full of monsters, and then taken in by knights after he'd spent years hunting down creatures of chaos. And that's pretty much what he's gone back to doing. He's found half of the galaxy completely subsumed by darkness, warp storms, chaotic beasts, so he's just set back to work. He is going to reunite, you'd imagine, with the Dark Angels chapter, and woe betide anybody who finds themselves on the other side of the battlefield from them.
Holy shit.
Man, they're just not playing out the gate.
God
man.
damn.
He looks like very wizened.
Interesting. So he's the last Omen book.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, there have been rumors that was going to be the case. What a dapper gentleman.
I'm getting like Sean Connery vibes off him, man.
True.
Welcome to the Rock.
Dude, exactly.
So, the Lion has returned. A brand new Primarch has returned to Warhammer 40,000 to the 41st Millennium. Some of you predicted it. Some of you saw it coming.
Just
some
a
of you,
few.
Just a few, you know.
And is he brand new or is he brand old? I can't tell.
He's
been around.
well, he
for
is pretty
a bit.
old. So we saw some of the people in the chat there commenting that he looks quite old. He is 10,000 years old.
He
so,
is. He
you know,
hasn't been sitting
let's-
comfortably in stasis for 10,000
Yeah,
years.
it's probably on like a stone slab as well. So
Yeah, it
you
doesn't
know,
sound
that'll
very
do something
comfortable,
to
actually.
your
I don't
back.
want to talk about that, Eddie, at this
No.
point in my life.
Fair enough. Well, so let's have a look at the miniature then. So we've got some shots of it. Absolutely
that's so
phenomenal
good.
miniature. Early contender, I think, for miniature of the year. One
Oh,
of
it's
the
like a
most
statue he's standing
anticipated
on,
Warhammer
okay.
models I think we've ever had the pleasure to reveal on one of our live streams. Every inch of this model is just dripping with
Dude, that
detail
is so
and
clean.
iconography
Oh my
and just
God.
the raw, cool, gothic aesthetic of the Dark Angels.
It's been difficult for me to even fathom how we got to the point that it was designed in the way that it is, because it's stunning. And then nothing that I could have expected was actually fulfilled with it, because it was so much better than what I was imagining. And I gotta tell you, it was one of the better kept secrets of the studio. I could not see it myself until I think, a couple days ago. So it's been amazing to see the community get excited and make all the wild calls and whatnot. And of course, there was a video of a lion earlier today.
Yeah.
So
Well,
loads of really lovely details to talk about on this miniature. So we'll go through some of the highlights. So he's got a sword. He's got a brand new sword. So
He does seem to have one.
This is not the Lion sword.
Look
The
at
Lion
his
sword is
backpack,
still with Cypher around the galaxy
So
somewhere. At
sick.
some point, maybe they'll meet again, but it's not this day. But he has another blade, which is more than capable of cleaving monsters in half with. He's
I wonder what the
accompanied by
name of that one
two
is.
Watchers in the Dark. These are the kind of shadowy forms that follow key Dark Angels characters around, and there is no more significant character than the Lion himself. And they kind of whisper to him in the darkness and kind of give him hints about where he might best put his service to the Emperor and defeat the forces of chaos.
Well, he's also got a shield there, Eddie, it looks like.
He does. He is carrying the Emperor's shield. So that is the glorious
Oh,
golden
shit.
helmet shield carried
Oh,
by the Emperor
baby.
and now carried by his son, in much the same way that Guilliman wields the Emperor's sword. The Emperor possibly gifted or maybe inherited the shield of the Emperor. So when he's fighting against the horrors of the galaxy, he can use the Emperor's shield to deflect the deadly blows that might even lay someone like him low. Other details on him there, you can see that the details on his armor are effectively scaled up, more ornate, elaborate versions of Space Marine power armor. So he's definitely still fundamentally a Space Marine, right? He's a leader of a Space Marine Legion, and all the iconography of the Dark Angels in some capacity is kind of incorporated
power pack's crazy.
into his armor.
I actually think it's fascinating with the paint job as well, that he's clearly got that green element of the Dark Angels, but there's sort of that original sort of darker hue to the main armor plates as well going on in the way that it's been put together.
Yeah, I mean, you could certainly interpret that armor as being black armor with a slightly green tinge to it. That's pretty cool. Obviously, the green of the Dark Angels comes from the forests of Caliban. That's where that green color scheme comes from. And the black was kind of their original First Legion color. So the green of the Dark Angels Legion was incorporated when the Lion
What kind of pistol do you think he has?
It's a nice little touch that he's kind of...
I'm going to say it's a plasma pistol that you can overcharge and kill him
another
immediately.
shot of some more close-ups. So this
That
is
looks
my
like
favorite
melted.
thing
Holy
actually
shit.
about this
Oh,
model.
the head.
Kit, but there's
Oh,
no substance.
Oh,
One of
the
things-
helmet,
There
dude.
are four
Oh my
different,
God.
head
Holy
options for the Lion. So
I'm gonna have to
you can
magnetize
sort
the
of
head, 'cause I won't be able to
how
choose
you
which
want
one
the
I
Yeah,
want.
they're all good.
represent on the battlefield. So you can have your unhelmeted head.
Fuck,
so
maybe I will make
there
Dark
as the
Angels.
general of the forces.
What if
commands to his legion,
the
his
more
chapter,
wounded he
you can
gets,
have the
he
kind of
loses
hooded
his
up side with
helmet,
helmet,
and then he goes to barehead, and then when he's about to die, he puts the hood up. You know?
Secrets of the Dark
Yeah,
That'd be
or
cool.
you can go kind of full-on lion helm and have the winged helmet that's become synonymous with the Dark Angels over the years.
Wait, so that is the lion helm?
The kind of
what
absolute
he just said?
icon
That's what
of
he
the
just said.
Dark Angels.
Doesn't Azrael have the lion helm?
He got it back. He's just keeping it
Azrael
warm.
just got a new model that has the lion
Really cool
helm.
option.
Maybe they traded.
And the lion
They
is
share
a
custody.
complicated character, right? So he's got a really interesting relationship with the Imperium, with his brothers, with his own chapter, with his commanders under him. So he is this kind of multifaceted, interesting personality, and you can kind of choose which of those you like and which ones you associate with, and make the model to fit.
You're already hinting at a few things about him. There are questions aplenty that even I have about the Arcs of Omen book itself. What is going on with the
Is
lion?
his
in the
beard
current-
different in the hood?
Yeah, so this model comes out alongside
I think it's
Arcs
just
of Omen
different
Book
paint.
5,
Yeah.
which
It's like
is
a
the
shadowier
culmination
paint.
of the Arcs of Omen series. The book is called Arcs of Omen: The Lion, and it will chronicle the finale of the story of the Arcs of Omen, which will see a huge showdown, effectively, between the forces of Chaos and the forces of the Imperium. On the Imperial side, you will have the Lion alongside some of the Dark Angels chapter and some of their successors, and you'll have Dante, and you'll have some Blood Angels, so some of the
Come on.
the angels, basically, the angels of darkness will stand against the forces of chaos. On the chaos side, you've got Abaddon, you've got Vashtor, you've got Angron. So it's going to be a huge showdown.
Well, they had that video, but also they say left in that
On
video.
screen right
So
now, you can see kind of how the lion scales
I say
against some
Abaddon.
of the other key models
It's
that you'll see
Abaddon.
alongside.
Yeah.
So they're against an intercessor, so you can see quite a lot bigger than a standard Space Marine. And against Reboot Guilliman, he's the same scale. So he is a Primarch, they are brothers. Neither of them was known to be particularly larger than their brothers, so they are pretty much the same size. They're standard Primarch.
Everyday run-of-the-mill Primarch that you
Absolutely.
see around the
Well,
corner. on
he's
usual
original
Saturday
and best,
mornings.
some would say.
I'm excited
Indeed, it's
Yeah.
true. His
to
rock
see
looks a
the
little less
interactions
tactical.
between him
If anyone is going to stand on a rock, it's going to be
Rabute.
the lion.
Yeah.
It does seem like what he
Because
does
of
is
Imperium,
It's kind of his jam.
Secundus, and that whole thing.
there could be some
Eddie,
weird beef
everyone
going on.
Yeah.
It's needed.
So this is the artwork that comes on the cover of Arcs of Omen Book 5, and you get a kind of close-up on the lion there. You can see that he has aged, basically. So as far as the narrative, the timeline is concerned, Guilliman has been in stasis for most of the last 10,000 years. So when he comes out, fresh-faced, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, maybe only a few centuries old, the lion has literally been alive for all 10,000 years. So that's what a Primarch looks like.
Just a very long nap.
It's a really long cat, indeed.
Well, he does have that effect in the miniature as well. It's one of the things we saw people commenting on. That He looks older, and the reality is, for those that didn't pick it up earlier, he is indeed quite a bit older.
He's pretty old. Yeah, he's pretty old. But he does have that kind of like ancient, venerable veteran knight errant sort of thing. So you can imagine that kind of character. And this is what happens in the Arcs of Omen, basically, is that he is wandering through the Imperium Nihilus, taking on monster hunting, basically, like picking up where he left off when he was a Knight of Caliban.
His primary calling.
Yeah, wandering out into the dark forest to take down the monsters that haunt the darkness.
And we saw that in his quote, his focus being on teaching them to fear the darkness in which they dwell.
Yeah. Here he is alongside a Dark Angel's army, and you can kind of see how he scales versus some of the other units. So, you know, he's looks pretty cool next to Redemptor Dreadnoughts and Intercessor units and tanks.
He's like Gilliman's size. He might be a little taller than
A
Gilliman's
little bit
model.
of all of the bits of
I'm very interested to see them like straight up
Yeah,
side by
Yeah.
side.
some black color, some green.
The fact that he has like the mustache and the beard.
Have we seen that
Michael
Chaos
Myers
model in the
said,
lower
"Can't
left
wait
before?
to see the Warhammer community post.
Yeah,
Possessed?
those are possessed.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Painting.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a painter's treat.
The fact that he's got the
Very,
beard that
very
he does gives me hope that if they
Here's
ever
some
bring out
shots
a
from,
Rogel Dorn,
Arcs of Omen
that he's going to have the mutton
5.
chops.
So we can see here the Dark Angels and the Blood Angels fighting against the forces of first of Chaos, but
There's a lot of things you love on that tabletop.
Dude,
right
I'm
there.
all about that.
One
That
of the
is
things
beautiful.
there's some really cool stories in the last episode of the Arcs of Omen, so I don't want to spoil it because it's got some absolute huge twists and turns. Even for those who've followed Warhammer 40,000 for a long time, there's some really nice payoffs to some very long-running arcs.
It is all I can do not to try and prod you to tell them more about it, because Eddie's giving
Why'd they
me
hide
more about
Azrael
it.
in the
It's
bottom
hard
right
for
down
me
there?
To not.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed about they're just like nonchalantly being like, oh yeah, Dante's in the screenshot too. I know like he got leaked and they had to post the article early, but like, just give me
oh
a
yeah,
stint.
he's just up there.
He's just chilling.
I mean, he's also just like his model's like
I've got
not
mixed
very
feelings about Lion.
grandiose.
He is the
I wish it
He's
did
just a guy
more.
jumping.
Yeah.
Can't lie with that. Do we have more to talk about in this preview?
We
I
do,
think,
we've
than
got
the
more.
Lion,
We
or is
should
this the
probably-
Lion
we should-
preview? We just talk about the
Oh,
Lion for
jump-
the next hour, I think.
The last thing though to say
shit.
about
Oh,
this is that
baby.
in the Oxbowman Book 5, the Lion will fight Angron. So we have a situation,
shit.
2 brand new miniatures, 2 new Primarchs.
We should
both
recreate
returned
that
for
on the
41st
tabletop.
Millennium.
We will.
And
Don't
they
worry.
will
Absolutely
have a
can.
showdown in Book 5 of the Oxbowman.
I'm
So,
ordering this poster
yeah.
for behind me.
If you if you are a Lion fan or a Angron fan, please let us know in the chat who you will be rooting for in that particular.
Yeah, who
battle.
would you root for in that
Cool there.
lineup?
I mean, maybe.
We might be able to do
We'll
a
have a
poll.
go.
Which
Who's your real daddy?
Angron?
Plead
Has
the
already been
fifth.
written, so you don't need to change it. You can certainly
That's
leave
fair.
it
You
out.
can guess what you want to happen.
Right, but that's not it. Would you believe? We've got
No,
more stuff to show
there's
you.
more to talk
It's only
about.
one model.
In
Just
fact,
one model.
I think we told everyone here it was the biggest Warhammer preview we'd ever done. I think we,
in terms of the amount of stuff.
in terms of
Yeah,
the amount
yeah,
of
we
stuff,
do.
it would be an injustice if we didn't.
Give me more.
So we are leaving 41st Millennium for a little bit, and we are going to jump into the mortal. Oh, it's Heresy first. So we are going to jump to the Horus Heresy. Yeah, let's roll video.
Just be more Primarchs. Still haven't played Horus Heresy.
We got him, man. It looks so cool.
I'm Andy Hall. I work on the Horus Heresy team in the Warhammer studio. The setting for the Siege of Cthonia book is the planet of Cthonia itself, which is the homeworld of the Sons of Horus. It's actually the homeworld of War Master Horus. As the War Master's fleets were advancing on Terra, a small detachment, calling themselves the True Sons of Cthonia, decide to peel away from the fleet and retake Cthonia in the interests of the honour of their culture. So the book opens up with a really big, extensive narrative of the actual Cthonia campaign itself. Then we go into a section that sums up what all of the big factions within the Horus Heresy are doing at this point in the war. We also have some new core scenarios for the game. So if you wish to play through the events described in the narrative, you've got some special scenarios that are themed around the Siege of Cthonia. We gave people a basic way of doing Zone Mortalis games in White Dwarf when the new edition came out, and this takes that and expands it into a full system. So
What is
full
Zone
Zone Mortalis.
Mortalis?
scenarios
It's basically
system in
Horus
the-
Heresy
it's
boarding
also
boarding
got
patrol.
a really interesting section on Space Marine Inductii. We've got a new type of consul, which is called a Decorian. We have the Infernus Abomination. And then the last thing in the book, there's a number of special characters and special models that you can take. There's the two main leaders, the two main special characters, Garrus, Evander for the Imperial Fists and Varanash Haddon for the Sons of Horus. We've got models coming out for those, rules for them in here. This is the first of the campaigns of the Age of Darkness series, and we intend to keep going with these. One really important thing to say about this book is it's designed to appeal to all Horus Heresy players. It's also telling a really important part of the overall story, and it's also giving people rules and scenarios and all the rest of it that will appeal to everybody.
Cool.
Yeah, that's rad.
We'll have to hit that up someday. Hit up the old Horus Heresy.
So that is a brand new narrative
pretty
expansion
decent
book
size
for the
Horus
Horus
Heresy
Heresy.
force.
Black books
Yeah.
are
Just
back.
haven't
Yeah,
painted
well,
any
so
of
one
it.
of the things.
Yeah,
that
you
was a
both do. You got
huge
that
hit
big box
with
set.
the
Yep.
first edition of the Horus
I
Heresy.
got
were the
halfway
black
through
books.
airbrushing
That was
mine,
basically
but,
the main way that
sadly I
you
haven't
engaged
finished
with
too
the
much of
game.
it.
I was just still
They had
torn about
loads
whether or
of
not
really
I'm going
rich
to do
lore and
Dark Angels or
background
Word
and
Bearers
maps
for
and
them.
all sorts of really cool stuff.
Gotta
And
pull that trigger
it's been
one way or
a year since
another.
We've had
It's been one of the biggest questions we see on a regular basis is when are the big black campaign books coming back for the Horus Heresy? And here we
yeah,
are.
so this book is the first of that ilk, and it's absolutely jam-packed with stuff. We heard from Andy Hoare there a few of the details about what's going to be in it. So there will be brand new miniatures, obviously accompanying the new campaign book. But maybe more excitingly, actually, is that this brings new ways to play. So there is a full Zone Mortalis set of rules. That's a hugely popular way to play Horus Heresy.
Yep.
Obviously, loads of the best bits of the lore of the Horus Heresy of like boarding the Vengeful Spirit or various different flagships and Gloriana ships and the battles that happen on board them. This has got new ways to play on the tabletop on the Horus' homeworld on Cthonia itself, and the characters that kind of lead those battles will be getting new miniatures alongside lots of other new miniatures that these new campaign books herald. So it's a really exciting time for the Horus Heresy. It's like the next step. We've had the edition, we've had the kind of base level, and now this is diving into the detail.
It's pretty exciting to hear Andy talk about it as well. Even when he's not on a recording, there's a certain driving passion that exists there for Warhammer and for the brand and for the game that it is sort of hard to rival, and it's magical to see amongst the folks who are actually designing and building the product. And also to hear him talk about it as, in his own words, inside of our regular meetings, a historical war game in a sense, and that we view the Heresy
it's
as
historical.
a historical.
There we go.
It's gonna be. I got to turn 40, then I'll play historical.
Exactly. Something I've always told Ryan is by the time he turns 40, something's going to click and be like, I will play historicals. Like, anytime we're at the store,
that's when I'll really get into Horus Heresy.
There we go.
And these campaign books basically go, here is a bunch of really cool
pretty
stuff.
cool. Have the Horus Heresy novels covered the Siege of Cthonia? Because that seems like a pretty intense setting.
Haven't. If they have, I haven't quite gotten there yet.
Which would you be?
I'm pretty close to the Siege of Terror, so it'd have to happen.
The Imperial Fists are pretty cool.
Pretty close to where I'm at, because Cthonia is close to Terra.
But then,
okay,
I mean,
yeah,
it is
I didn't know
Horus.
that.
That's why Horus was like the one of the first Primarchs
So he has enough spotlight
to be found.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or he was the first
one of
Primarch.
I believe he was, yeah.
Other things too is if you ever happen to see some photos, if you're ever at one of the events we're at, we actually have a 60.
He was still like a kid when the Emperor got him.
Heresy is
Like a
As much as
rambunctious
as
Primarch teenager.
as much as a Primarch is a kid.
miniatures, recreating the whole experience and some of the like scene for scene, shot for shot pieces
Pretty
of
cool.
cover art from the Heresy. So I'm kind of a big old Heresy historical nerd myself. But it's exciting to see.
I'm going to change my answer actually because I just remembered a cool thing about this book that we haven't talked about.
Now
yet.
you're not going to be Imperial.
So one of the things that these books do is they give you a bit more of the kind of rich tapestry of the Heresy. And what we know is that some of the legions and chapters didn't fall
Tartaros.
They
Are
had
those
loyalist
Tartaros?
elements.
Yeah, those are
one of the things
Tartaros.
that's quite interesting.
Cataphracti, or cataphracti, however you want to pronounce it, are the bigger, beefier ones.
Yeah, what are the Contacar? Maybe that's a specific.
So
all the ones that I know
so
of
I'm gonna
are
pick them.
Tartaros,
So I like
Cataphracti,
Falcons,
and
so
Indomitus
my
are the
choice is
You're a fan of
Terminators.
these
Saturnine, baby.
Oh yeah,
That's
Saturnine, but I don't
All
care.
right.
Are those the?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Turtle shoulders.
Those are the ones that like we don't know how to use
Cool.
mold
Okay,
machines
so
yet, so
that's
this is what you
Horus
get.
Heresy, really cool. This book is going to be accompanied by loads and loads of new stuff.
Yeah, that's a
Dermatology tools,
Cataphracti
brand new
right
Yeah,
miniatures,
that's
all sorts of
Cataphracti,
cool things.
Cataphracti.
We are now going to jump to the mortal realms, where something
Alright.
ancient and prehistoric is.
My own
It's a
Chaos
good touch to jump
Dwarves.
from the immortal legions.
Just lay it on
Look,
me.
man. Look. I was reading about Chaos Dwarfs before I came here. Oh, but the fucking lizard men.
They're just out in the game, man.
Oh my god, I'm about to bust. Oh god. Those fucking raptors are so fucking good.
That's bonkers, dude.
See, I also love Exodites, and
Yeah.
there's like been very little of that. And
I
this,
mean-
this is just like conversion material. Oh, the Croxagors! Holy fuck!
Those are so.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, this is the whole reason.
Oh
Like, they're doing
no!
all of it.
Oh, I didn't need to see this. Oh my god! Look at that dude fucking lifts.
War spawned. All right.
Holy fuck!
Oh, that's wild.
Oh my god! I'm sorry. Holy fuck!
Mark says all these models would fit in the old world.
I know.
Mark,
I know.
we know.
So that is
Love
the
you.
rest of the Seraphon forces. We'd already
my
seen some
wallet.
new models on their way at some
Wild,
previous previews. But
They
this
haven't replaced
is the rest
Carnosaurs
of the
yet.
range, and
It's coming.
effectively, the
I have an
Seraphon
old
have now been fleshed
Carnosaur.
out to be one of the
Honestly,
An old pewter one. It wasn't too bad.
The current ones look good.
Look at those fucking things.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about how much a bunch of clever girls these particular ones are. I'm excited about this. As someone who's relatively new to Aegis,
Little indie film
This is the
called
market
Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Now I want them
And I am excited about what these miniatures.
I mean, they're not going to do this, but I want them to make new Cold One riders for Dark
I'm
Elves.
excited to collect them personally.
I mean,
also, Lizardmen was my first army when I started playing Warhammer.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I've got a definite soft spot for
Kindred
these guys.
spirits there.
Absolutely. So these are incredible models. So this is the Agrodon Lancer unit you can see on screen at the moment. This effectively replaces the Cold One riders that we currently
They've
have
got one
in
lance.
the Lizardmen range. They are significantly
Well, it's
bigger
drummer
than
and
the current heavy
standard
cavalry
bearer.
of the Seraphon. This is a very,
They all
very
probably
hard
have
You
lances.
can probably build more
they
as
are
lances
elite
if you
Yeah.
swords
wanted
riding
to.
on the
I
back of
guess, but I
very
mean, like,
large,
that's
angry
just
reptilian
like
cavalry.
Agrodon
They
featuring
are
lance.
They gotta show all the
grinding
options.
I
through
know.
combat.
Yeah.
But another group on him. So I don't know.
I mean, so that they are effectively the dreams of frogs from another dimension. So I think the evolutionary tree probably doesn't really apply.
Really good point. Dinosaur monster heroes from space.
Absolutely, but the models are incredible. I think if you are a painter, the Seraphon have leaped up the list of armies that would be a treat, because not only do you get to play with incredible color schemes for them, but the new miniatures are so detailed, so wonderful. This is
So
an
fucking
alternate
cool.
color scheme for the Agrodon Lancer.
I have noticed every single one of
there's
the
some
models
really,
is
really
screaming.
nice new color schemes actually.
Yeah,
I
mean,
battle tome that's on its way.
I mean, this one's taking a
one of the
break.
things that
Also, it looks like he's got a padlock on his
you can
friggin'
paint
jaw.
much more varied colours. We've shown
if
that.
you
Well,
were,
I mean, like the guys on the back, they're all yelling.
Oh,
yeah, if you were a
One of the things
divine
happening in the mortal realms,
space
effectively,
dinosaur
Oh,
warrior.
there it is. There's one that's not
Oh,
yelling.
that guy.
Oh yeah, but his mount's screaming for him.
I was about to say, yeah.
Someone's screaming.
Maybe they're like dogs. That's how they cool down.
flushed with life energy, and you can kind of extrapolate that into the various different realms. So if you want to kind of make your Seraphon your own and place them somewhere in the mortal realms and really ground them, you can. Or you can kind of lean into their classic.
Oh my god.
And what you see here actually is a throwback with that color scheme to a very old concept of
Just a
blessed by
really
the old
big.
ones. So
Are
some,
those things that the Lancers were
Seraphons
riding,
and
the
Lizardmen would
Agrodons
be
as well, or is that just
spawned,
like?
They're called,
albino,
yeah, they're Agrodon
that was
Lancers.
true.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Be seen
In the old
as,
world, they'd be called Cold Ones.
one of the old ones that intervened and gone, this person is marked for great.
Cold
things,
ones?
and they'd be marked
Yeah.
out as champion,
Cracking open the
given
cold
best
ones?
weapons.
Cracking
So
open the
they'd be
cold
bigger
ones,
Through a
yeah.
long, hard day of
And that's what you see
respecting
there.
the Imperium.
Scar vet-
And the Dark Elves
Agrodon,
have
this is
people who
a
ride
separate
them
kit
also.
from the other units, and again, that is a big. You don't quite get the scale of it from that, but you can kind of get a sense of it from the base. That is about the size of a Dracoth. That is a big old.
It is a
I'm
big
sorry,
old
a what?
monster.
massive space dinosaur, and I
Dracoth?
love your
I think
point
that's
there.
Oh,
shade
look
that
at
I
those
use.
boys.
Seraphon,
Yeah.
depending upon the realm that they're in, there's all that duality of the star.
Boys are
bearer
back
and
in
star
town.
Lizardmen, as it were.
They
as
are
well as the ones that
yoked.
are actually more
Yeah.
Yeah.
intuitive and more sort of corporeal within the realms that they've chosen. It's a fascinating duality that the faction provides you to sort of play it in a wide variety of different ways, both thematically and in gameplay terms.
And that's still true in the new battle tome and the new lore.
Yeah,
and one
imagine
of the
getting hit by a
reasons that
weaponized
we're seeing lots of
geode.
new troop units out,
Yo, that guy's got a
new
ball on
monsters
his
effectively
tail.
added to the
Dude,
army.
that's what's up.
The age of the beast,
You're gonna
becoming of
smack,
dragons,
smack, whip.
effectively shaken the foundations of the Seraphon.
Mark
and the
says
new kind of
Matt's
wave
killing it
of
with
bestial
jokes.
energy has woken up all these different
Mark,
ranks that were in.
I don't know if that's sarcasm or not.
Sleepy
I'm gonna
dog.
assume.
And they were like, "Oh, I didn't know we had all these."
I'm gonna
decks." And
assume
they've
good
woken up.
intentions from it.
On screen at the moment, there's a couple of units of Croxigor. There is one new Croxigor kit coming, and it makes two different units. You can make your standard Croxigor, which are still hulking, enormous reptilian killers, but you can make this brand new unit, which are called Croxigor Warspawned, and these are built and live for battle. So whereas a normal Croxigor in times of peace might help the skinks kind of construct pyramids or fashion things or move heavy loads around, these guys want none of that. They are just angry, massive crocodiles.
It is
that
not
just want to rip
sarcasm.
into
All right,
enemies.
I appreciate you, Mark.
Massive, heroic saviors.
So versus your weakened
Sure.
warriors, you got
I mean,
these
They're
guys.
sort of heroic, so they're about as chaotic and destructive as you can be while still being on team.
Ah, these models look so
Good
sick.
guys.
Yeah, they're popping.
And here's a shot of the
amazing.
whole Seraphon
Not
range.
to make me start a
kind of as it
Seraphon
comes
army.
together, and you get a
It's
sense
gonna be
of
all lizards
those
all
new
down
units
here on
we've
Slam
seen,
Sector.
We gotta play some Age
how
of
they
Sigmar, man.
come
Hey, my
together.
I got
nerd.
that whole
Just an
Swamp
incredible
Crew Boys army,
True.
like,
Everything
right over
about
there.
the Seraphon
That's
army
what's up,
is
man.
You gotta paint them up.
You
Let us
only
know
have
in
one
chat
model
if you
page.
want to see Age of Sigmar on stream.
Yes, not in replacement of 40K.
There is, of
Just
course,
in
Yeah,
back
yeah,
on the
just
way that you can
mixing
now
it
show you
up.
the cover featuring as
Whenever
well
these guys
as
drop, I'm gonna
Lancer
bankrupt
Champion,
myself probably, but
brand new battle
Both
tome, obviously,
monetarily
with
and
all the
morally?
new rules that we can play.
why morally?
I don't know.
Some
To
of
do
the
horrible
existing
things
kits
for
still stick around,
additional
so
funds.
Oh
to
yeah,
buy.
I mean, I might have to
With
do
all
some
the
things in
cons
back
or
alleys to
most of
pay
the
for it,
big
but
monsters that are
you know.
relatively
Or with a
easy to
Weeby
use,
tab or
still
whatever
really
it's
nice.
called.
Stick around.
Oh, yeah, let's not dive too much into my personal life here.
So it's a pretty big
We're here to look at some Warhammer.
I can't even treat
The
this.
release license fit properly into the
Thanks, Matt.
I do what I can. I do what I can. Helping the boys. Boys helping boys. Buy the Seraphon shit.
those units.
The first place you will be able to get hold of the new Seraphon and the new Battle Tome
What's
is
in it?
an Army box, which is on its way fairly soon.
What's in it?
Inside this box, you will get
Oh.
these units.
All right, no
the
Crocs
Battle
Wars, that's
Tome,
fine, that's
2
fine.
units of Raptidons, the Slanmade Priest, and a unit of Saurus. And then that will be followed swiftly afterwards
That's
by the
a
release of all the rest
decent
of the
amount of
Seraphon
models
models
for that kind of
If
kit.
you are a Seraphon fan,
I'm trying to
there is
compare
a
it to
really,
the,
really good few months ahead of you.
Adeptus Militarum box, and I feel like that was a better
It's
deal.
exciting.
The Astra Militarum?
I think we
Yeah,
have a bunch of
yeah,
other
yeah,
things to cover for
That
Age of
isn't
Sigmar.
Imperial
We're
Guard.
halfway through Age of Sigmar.
Yeah,
there's,
Imperial Guard.
there's loads of cool stuff.
Astra
for Age of
Middle,
Sigmar.
what
Talk
now?
about the fact
You're in
that
the
we're
guard,
gonna
son!
soon. What else do we have before we get to this?
Let's have a look at the video and see what.
Let's
Oh, what? All right.
Tell me more.
I'm intrigued. I feel like Mark is probably intrigued by this too. This is big vampire energy.
It also has big AOS energy.
That's true. I know this is some Ossiarch Bone Lord stuff. I like their theme.
This commercial's great.
Yeah, it's pretty slick.
Keep expecting the Scooby Gang to pop out. No, that's a vampire.
Oh, these are all over the place. Okay.
I think this is some Underworld stuff, maybe.
No. Okay. Yeah. So this
Oh,
is
no,
what they
no, no.
did for the Nurgle release. They're getting like a hero character each.
And a new book.
Mm-hmm.
With the Bone Daddies and the vampires.
Bone Daddy's good, but you know what really flows off the tongue when you're talking about Ossiarch Bone Reapers? Just calling them boners. I'm sorry, it's true. It's true.
Family show.
I'm just saying, dude. It's like, oh, you killed 5 of my boners. I'm gonna.
It's pretty amazing. I'm always entertained by it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we've got 2 new heroes coming for Grand Alliance Death, and 2 new battle tomes accompanying them. So we have the Soulblight Gravelords and a new vampire, a named vampire hero, and the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, and a new generic hero that they can add into their forces. So I think we've got some pictures of the models we can bring up on screen and have a look.
And you should talk about the Ossiarch first, but I love the way you
Ossiarch.
describe
Interesting.
that vampire.
Sigmar's
They're
just
both
got some
really,
cool
really cool.
models
So this
in
is
it.
the Mortisan
Yeah,
Ossifactor,
some cool skulls.
and effectively this
Man,
is a
that smoke trail,
a mage.
you drop that model, that
construct
thing's
units,
snapping
and their
immediately.
particular speciality amongst the Mortisans is that they build the biggest, largest,
That's so
most
cool, though.
destructive units. So this is in game terms, this is a
You hear
buff
that?
unit.
The Ossifactors build the biggest boners.
Make them a little
There we
bit
go.
more durable, or you can make them.
We're just leaning into that one, huh?
So if you've gone for an elite,
Mark says the vampire's
like a
old world
monster-heavy
compatible.
Ossiarch force, this is
That's true. Hey, I'm wondering if this lady has
Just a
an
really
end time
nice
story or
model, lots
not.
of kind of cool effects and stuff.
She looks like more of an Age of Sigmar vampire. I don't remember there being like the kind
There is a new
of
battle tome. It
werewolf
has a brand new cover.
vampires in the old world. I
It's
could
really
be
cool.
wrong, Mark.
And
I'm not like a
cuts across
vampire
the
count
Mortarch,
expert,
who
so
gets
Mark
some
could.
tasty new rules.
Well, I mean, you had
as well.
some of the royal families like
the
von
current
Smirnoff
Bone
or whatever the
Reaper
hell it was, right?
With the last edition of Age of Sigmar
The Strigoi.
into the brand
They
new
ice you, dude.
The Strigoi were more
All the new
bestial,
rules
but they were
for
more
other
like
battle tomes.
gargoyle-y.
So kind of
Like
Every time I start to dive
Makes
into
them
it,
kind of
all I
completely
think of is Vampire the Masquerade lore, which is
Yeah,
like
it's very similar.
way off.
There's some similarities
Vampires.
there.
Yeah.
So this is
But yeah, see how she's got them
Ivya
wolfy.
Volga,
Yeah,
and she
but
is
like the
Volgas
Volgas-
of her house. She is
I
a
don't think-
wandering.
That's like some old
lone
world
monster
shit
hunter.
because they would name
Woods
things
woman.
after like real
She
things.
wanders
Yeah,
around
I
in
don't
the
think
wild places
this
of the realm.
particular
She finds monsters,
style was in the
chops
old
their
world.
heads
Mark
off,
could
and
correct me.
Yeah,
He-
Mark,
The-
do
the
you
he
know
knows
the
all
video
that
of this girl or what?
are sort
Yeah.
of, like not 100% on board with her, but she's
Now-
still a vampire. She's still part of the family. When
Is that her
when
hair
push
or
comes
is
to
that a
shove.
hat?
She's a
The
vampire
army
werewolf
fights,
monster
she's still
hunter.
trying to fight.
Oh.
She's accompanied
Copy
by
that.
a swarm of
Roger
crows.
that.
She
Okay.
uses
I guess
kind
we
of,
need to pay attention.
swamp enemy units and
Instead of just
monsters to help her.
spitball.
But yeah, no. But back to the real questions: is that
What's quite
is that
fun
her
about
hair
it
or is it a
that
hat?
You've got this kind of crux of lots of different.
That's a
fairy
wolfskin
tale
pelt.
elements
Yeah,
pulled
man.
together.
Maybe she
Okay.
hunted that. Well, I mean, it matches
It's
the
a
her
vampire,
leg
right? So
hair.
it's a very
For
dark,
lack of a better
Warhammer
term,
take
her leg
very
fur.
kind of classic European
So
fairy tale.
she might have grown it.
I think it
Actually,
matches more of the
makes
fur that's
sense,
like on her
interesting
coat.
and fascinating thematic element, and it seems like both of these characters are helping.
We may never know until Mark releases a lore video on her.
Yeah, lure us up, Mark.
The feels that they have.
Yeah, but both
Or
of them
old
give
world
you a
lore,
sort of
though,
direction,
not
I
any
guess.
of this
So
goofy new
she's
stuff. I'm
obviously got
kidding, I
wolf
love
elements to her, so you can
Age of
kind of
Sigmar,
wolfy kind
and
of vibe.
it makes
Soulblight
Mark
Gravelords
wretch.
again,
Praise
one of the
Nurgle.
last battle tomes of the last edition, which meant that they didn't get lots of the cool things that lots of other armies got.
Now that looks like a blood
Latest
dragon
edition
on the
Warhammer
front of
Age of
that.
Sigmar. This battle
which is
tome
the
brings
old
bang
world
up to
thing.
date. It also incorporates other units we've seen added in since the last battle tome was added, including things like the vampire unit we saw in the last edition, the last box set for Warcry. So it
That
actually has
cover
quite
art's
a lot
metal as
more
hell.
to
Yeah,
it
it is.
than
Yeah.
even the current Soulblight Gravelords book. So Soulblight Gravelords came out relatively recently. They were a huge
That's what
hit.
that's
One of
what
the most popular
always
armies
brings me
now
back
is
to
Warhammer
factions like
Sigmar,
Chaos.
and
As
this
I
book
look at their
brings some
stuff,
bang
I'm
up
like,
to date
dude, that's
loads of
metal
cool
as
stuff
hell.
for your army
Yeah.
to do.
Amazing.
But
Do you
that's
have
not
more Age of
that's not
Sigmar?
it. You've got even more. We've got
I
even more.
feel like no one would have predicted that this was going to be an Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, I mean, they've been spoiled, and here's something.
Let off with a line, and now it's all about the mortal
Yeah.
realms.
Well, let's see what else we got.
Oh, is this Cities of Sigmar?
Hey, yo!
I
Cities
don't
of
remember
Sigmar.
taking the coin Malleus. But here we are, trudging through the mud to bring
They've been teasing this
Sigmar's
stuff.
light.
Some of this
To the
stuff looks
realms.
fucking good.
So if you take the coin, you're conscripted or recruited?
I don't know. I think this is Cities of Sigmar. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which all my old Dark Elves are just pure Cities of Sigmar, so
Well, hopefully they get better rules this time around.
So, Cities of Sigmar, that is the new infantry that is on its way for the Free Peoples, basically, Sigmar's mortal followers. So, just to set your expectations a little bit, we are still a good few months away from the release of this army in full, but we wanted to kind of keep you updated as to where the project was getting to.
It's good to see
we've
where
kind
like
of
a
been
regular
following the
human
Cities of Sigmar
stands
project
compared to all
as
the
it develops,
Seraphon stuff.
And
You
now
know?
we've got the
Yeah.
first kind of painted miniatures to show you. This is some warriors.
We apologize
from
for the cat
mortal
noises.
Infantry units of Sigmar. They are effectively.
Those
you
look
imagine
nice.
That,
Yeah.
these people have
I'm
to
actually
face
really
flying sharks and huge
kind of
orcs
impressed.
and
You know, it's like it's
vampires
kind of
and
hard to do like
monsters and
generic
pretty much anything.
sword and board
Even equivalent
dudes,
of Proxigors, then.
but
Yeah, well,
they pull
not
it
really.
off.
If you're looking for the absolute underdog,
I like these
mortal
better
realms,
than
this
like
is this unit. They
Empire
are,
soldiers. to
given
be
a
honest.
rusty shield.
Oh,
I never was
not
really
matching
big on the
weaponry,
whole
a hat that just about
puffy,
fits, and then kind of booted out
like
en
land
masse into the realms.
legs and all that.
Oh, dude, really, I
given a
love
pat on the
that.
back,
This is
and they
not
have to
me.
go and found a city
So, like some of the riflemen, I feel like they had like cod
plucky
pieces and
underdogs.
shit. It's
Yeah.
awesome, dude. It was so cool.
Now, when I look at this stuff, what's going through my head is like
Often
you could
wild
make
and crazy
a
and
pretty
monstrous
crazy
element to aesthetic
Imperial
that you
Guard
see.
regiment.
Even
sure.
even on
Like
the
Kit Basham,
even
Some
on the-
like
even
feudal
on the-
guys. that-
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, for the Emperor. And they're just like they're literally a
We've had a follow.
pig-raising peasant.
And what this army basically
We have
does
the
is gives
Mark
you
Old
the-
World compatible
it's
seal of
like,
approval
what do
once
we
again.
There we go.
Mark
in the mortal realms.
puts the seal of approval on
We'll have
this.
lots more
What would
stuff
he? Would he put these in the
I don't know.
Empire, or would he
Weeks
put
and
them in like
months as we
Bretonia?
approach the release.
I feel like those are
This
some
is the
Bretonian
artwork
looking
from
MFers
the
right there.
coming
They're
battle
pretty. They're
code.
kind of
And what this
Bretonian
does,
to
which is
me.
quite cool. It gives you a sense of some of the sub factions.
I like some of those.
within the new
Some of that
battle tome.
iconography.
Yeah, they got some really intense
Yeah,
stuff. Now,
so
which of those are
centre there
like
you've got,
bad elves
Sigmar
or dark
sigil,
elves or
the
whatever?
12-pointed
I
star.
don't see.
Around the edge, you've got
Anvil
some
Guard
symbols
was the
cities that might be
big
familiar
city of
if you're up to
Sigmar
date on your current Age of Sigmar lore.
that
There's some ones that are brand new,
had dark
so
elves
you
in
get
it.
the sense
Okay.
of
I don't.
the different corners of
Is that the one on the
mortal
right?
realms,
I feel like no,
Maybe?
that's an anchor thing.
Yeah, I
You
don't.
said Sigmar
The
is
Anvil
the
Guard
season
on the
They
water
might be.
always off.
I mean, they might be redoing the cities.
So in terms
I
of
really
the
don't know. I
roadmap
haven't been
for
keeping
Mark
up with
says
that.
this is
Age of Sigmar,
Bretonia as
we
hell.
have,
Yeah.
Blades of
I would put it in
Dawn,
Bretonia
Select
before
are available to pre-order just now,
Empire.
so they are days away from being in people's hands. Very
Oh,
soon after,
they have two
we
more
get two
codexes
death battle
still to
tomes, so
reveal.
the
Or
Ossiarch Bone Reapers
battle
and the
tomes.
Soulblight Gravelords
reveal.
are hot on
Battle
their heels.
tomes.
And then we have Mystery Book 1 in
Oh.
summer. We're not going to tell you what that is just yet, but it's going to be very cool and exciting, so we'll tune in for future previews to find out what that is. We also have Seraphon alongside their army box. They're going to land in summer, as will the latest General's Handbook. And then in autumn, we have Mystery Book 2, which I'm not going to tell you about today. Just very tantalizing, very
Yeah,
mysterious.
stories.
There's no way that covers that plane.
And then Cities of
No,
Sigmar
no,
will be
that's
with
like
us
a
before the end of
placeholder
the year.
cover.
So
They
we'll
both
keep you
have
up to
it.
date. We'll give you
Oh, okay.
lots more information about the Cities of Sigmar. But whether it's Seraphon, Cities of Sigmar, or any of those other battle tomes that are on the way, it is a pretty exciting few months actually. For
I
Age
mean,
of
you've
Sigmar.
only told us up to autumn. Who knows what the winter
Who
could
knows?
bring.
Who knows what the winter could.
You know, with
Well, we have- so we've
Rough
covered a
Riders
lot of
being a thing
Sigmar.
again,
We took a
Sigmar.
detour from the
a
41st
sort of
Millennium. I feel
fancy
like we should
theme
go
in
back
Guard
there.
We
Regiment
can go that for a
would
little
work
bit.
really
That
well.
would be
What else
spicy.
do we have?
That'd be very. Oh, we got something else kicking.
Oh, this is what you're
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about.
Beastman.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Beastman,
hearing about this
alright.
now. It's Beastman. Man, Ashen's gonna be amped about this. He's been wanting Space Beastman for a
Lord have mercy, I'm about to us.
We've got to get out of here. The Hulk's going to blow. Not until we find our iron.
Oh, look at that Gatling gun. Oh, I like that chair.
Search through the stasis chambers. Beastmen!
Yo?
Oh, with the smoke.
The gas mask?
The ancestors are watching.
Yo, 3 arms.
He got 3 arms? Oh my god.
Rock and stone. That's all I can think of when I see these guys.
Is that a
Holy shit! Jump pack Hearthkin.
Let's go!
Oh, look out.
Boy.
Dude,
Foxthorn.
these Beastmen would make some dope cultists. You know, I bet they'll have rules for Heretic Astartes and stuff too.
Dude.
That's a pretty cool kit.
They better get World Eaters rules.
Say again.
I am
better get World
fan
Eaters
of
rules.
kill teams.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be
These are
slick.
two amazing kill teams, and we're nearing the end of the story of Gallowdark.
Yeah, so this is Gallowfall, which gives you a hint about what might be occurring in the narrative. This is the last installment in the current season of Kill Team, which is the Into the Dark season where we're inside spaceships.
Keeping up with
And
that
the reason
at
this is
all.
the end of the season of this
I
is
enjoy
that the Gallow
Kill Team
Dark, the
terrain.
space Hulk we've been fighting over the past year, is crashing. It is crashing into a planet. And
Oh, so
this
the whole
last-
Kill Team season has been
Absolutely,
one
all the
space
best
Hulk.
One
So it's like-
giant,
that's
just
how it works. It's like
massive
Warhammer.
space Hulk.
That's kind of cool.
And like everyone's dipping
This
their toe in the
Space
loot a
Hulk
little
is
bit.
crashing into a planet, and this last installment is basically the last 5 minutes of a really cool action
how
film
thick that
where
plasma
your
gun
kill
is.
teams have to get to the escape pods and get out of dodge.
probably a little
before
bit
the
safer to
spaceship
use.
Yeah,
crashes
I
into the planet and
honestly.
is obliterated.
I gotta tell you, the Votan team has all the hallmarks of a great action film in terms of how they're equipped as well. My favorite being probably the minigun, the
There's a
high
minigun,
las
yeah,
rotary
yeah.
cannon, to be precise. What about yours? What's your favorite?
So my favorite thing in the Leagues of Votan half is that there's one of the characters who's basically come with knuckle dusters to a space fight. So they know they're going to board a spaceship. They don't know what horrors could await them. They have access to the full range of the Leagues of Votan equipment. You know, rail guns, rifles, all sorts of cool stuff. And this guy has decided he's going to go with the knuckle dusters.
I mean, they're like laser space.
They are like
knuckle
laser
dusters,
knuckle
to be clear.
dusters, but even so.
Digital
I mean,
lasers.
when in doubt, punch it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And up against them, we have the Felgor Ravagers, which
Oh,
are
yeah,
a
you see 'em?
But let's take a
Oh,
look at
yeah.
these Leagues of Votan in a
That's
little bit more
beautiful.
detail. So
That's rad.
based
I love
on the
that.
current
That's slick,
plastic
man.
kit for the kin, which is already a really flexible kit with loads of different head
That
options.
cat's
weapon
going
options.
buck
And
wild.
much like we've seen with
Votan
lots of the
cat,
other
I like
kill
that.
teams, you have a new sprue that expands the set and effectively allows you to make your models into specialists within Kill Team. I think it's one of the better upgrade kits because it adds onto a very recent kit, and the kit was already pretty good, right? The Leagues of Votan kit was a flexible kit.
And of course, you get everything you need in the launch box for it, so it's not as if you're missing.
This
one
thing I
of the
love about this new
first.
version of Kill Team.
But it
Buy
really is
once,
a
cry
robust
once,
kit.
you're in the
Adds
game with a single
Yeah.
box.
Those
Yeah.
space laser knuckle dusters.
It's probably got a better name.
But then you
Yeah,
get
I
the
mean,
plastic
I'm
hunger.
not a
Oh,
lore
right,
writer.
yeah.
Get that. And
They let you go
the
as
rest
far
of
as
the
you
pictures
want.
there as well. Yeah, there's that. There's the minigun. That's the one I want. Plus, what better inside of a spaceship than sort of a jump pack, right?
Yeah, you got
That
jump
might
pack
be
too, which is
the
pretty
only
cool.
jump
I
pack
like
in
the,
Kill Team. I
the
can't
Iron
think of
King,
another one.
who's got the kind of the tech assistant.
That's
Who's got the
interesting.
kind of data pad there.
It makes me
who's
wonder if they're
guiding them through the
gonna.
ship.
Bit of a reminder that the Iron King
Votan
Yo, he's
are
got a
gonna-
Slam Sector logo on the jump pack.
Oh, he does. Holy shit!
Absolutely.
All right.
Up against them,
Watch
we
it,
have the Felgor
G-Dub.
Ravagers. So this is a really exciting kit. We haven't really seen Beastmen in Warhammer
Is that dude
40,000
carrying a
properly
gong?
for a long time. We saw a few of them pop up in Blackstone
Something
Fortress, but
I think
they
it's
were
a
just
shield,
like-
but I don't
No,
know.
but look at how he's
Side
holding it.
thing.
He's
Yeah, I
holding-
know. It's got like a handle on the top.
Yeah.
That boy be
I don't
gonging.
think so. Though. There's a lot of chaos spikes on these guys. This is a brand new kit. It's very
Oh,
flexible.
yeah, he's
so
got
much
the
like lots of
mallet in the other
Kill
hand.
Team
Yeah.
kits we've seen, the bespoke Kill Team kits. You can build them in loads of different ways. There's different options for weapons and heads, and there's interchangeability between them. Each one is a
guys
specialist.
are pretty
So
dope.
it's very definitely a
I
combat.
have to imagine they're
focused
going to get
Kill Team.
40k
You've got
rules.
some slightly
Well,
stealthy
pretty much
ones,
everything
Oh,
that's
yeah.
come out in
magic-y
Kill Team has
ones.
gotten
You've got
40k
some
rules.
Look at that gas mask.
extra
That
equipment,
guy
smoke
that's like,
grenades,
yeah,
gas
I'm gonna make this
grenades,
gas
some
mask
with
work on
bionic
my
bits,
friggin'
charging and
snout.
ramming stuff. So if you're looking for an aggressive kill team, it gives you some options. And
Very
much
nerdly
like lots of
looking
the other
sword,
recent
I'm just
kill
gonna
teams
say
like
it.
Recruit and the Eldar, the level of detail on those kits is
Operating
really,
room.
really lovely. So,
And
That's
the
wild,
details
like,
that
What are
they
those,
work
like,
as well.
sarcophagus
You can see you've got one of the
drop
last
pod looking
expansions
things?
to
It's
the-
like
the
single
set.
person
Got a
drop
bunch of
pods?
Yeah,
pods
I guess
that
it's an
you can
emergency
jump into to
pod.
get away from the trouble that's facing you. It's kind of an amazing set to finish off that sort of
Oh,
well-rounded.
look at that. Yeah, dude, look at them. They're like all set up, ready to go. That's like the evac room.
Again, another form of coward pod. I get it. This is a sort of a theme.
That poor guy in the back to tank or whatever the hell is going on there.
What I really like about it is
he
it's
just
got
skeletoned out.
it's got a feel of like a really old school Warhammer set, because you've basically got dwarves fighting beastmen, right?
Yeah.
But they've put them in space in a spaceship, and they've all got like laser guns and chainsaws and stuff.
And laser knuckle dusters.
And laser knuckle dusters. So it just feels really, really Warhammer at the same time as being completely science fiction.
Once again, this whole Hulk that you've been fighting.
Is Ashton saying anything in chat about the Beastmen?
So the climactic final installment.
Beastmen Raru.
To very, very fun.
All right.
Kill teams to expand it.
I hear you, brother.
Just a really fun box.
I'm excited too, not to like give another shout out to Adepticon, but right over there in the other room, we've got literally what, like a 100+ player event of nothing but Into the Dark terrain and everything else happening tomorrow and the next day. So a lot of excitement around the end of the season.
You know, I know a little bit thing about Kill Team.
I was waiting for it.
I'm just saying, I threw my hat in the ring a little while ago.
Inside.
Evergreen.
Oh, not this.
Yeah, tell us what happened.
Yeah, what happened?
What's the
No,
story?
we're gonna save it. We'll save it for the end of the stream.
Oh, okay.
Very
Yeah, maybe you'll
claustrophobic,
forget
close
by
quarters
then.
thing. And both those kill
Zero
teams
ego, of course.
are very durable, lots of very dangerous
Yeah.
short-range weaponry, and the Beastmen team. Very good.
So, I will point out,
I haven't seen the stats in huge detail, but
They're
Beastmen
pretty good.
They haven't
notoriously hard to
addressed
kill.
Let's not forget
the
that in Kill Team,
Terminator
all these teams are
Tyranid thing
elites
was
in
not
a
something
sense,
they talked about in
right?
Kill
These are
Team.
not your
You're right.
run-of-the-mill
Which if it
threats.
was going
These
to
are
be
one of the
a
best
Kill Team
defenses
thing,
in
they probably would have
special
dropped it first.
special operations kind
I
of
think it's
get
10th
best
edition. They're saving it
course.
for the butt end.
Well
They
done.
started with the Lion to make people think that's it for 40K.
Anyway,
Maybe.
what do we have next?
Molly Damon says, looking sharp.
Oh, thank you.
Crashing into it too.
I think I just blasted my microphone.
Oh yeah, I may have done that too. The Carnivore Forest.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Is this the Underworld?
Yes, probably Underworlds.
And claim the arcane powers of the Wyrdhollow.
Wyrdhollow.
Oh yeah, look at that Zeech stuff. Holy shit.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's cool. See the backwards braining it up.
Unleash your power.
Too many models.
So this is like Magic the Gathering of models.
A bit. So you have cards, but you also have positions, and there's like base stats that you can improve with cards. It's actually pretty legit. I've got the Nurgle card set, so everyone check it out.
I mean, I don't really need another GW game to ensnare me.
Unless
I'm super
it's
excited.
Battlefield Gothic,
It's
right?
a bunch of
Oh yeah, if it's
subclasses.
Battlefield Gothic,
It's like they
fuck me. I'm
Or
I'm
Gorka
done.
Morka.
really took the full
Or
tour of
Epic.
what happens when you really follow it seems as far as it can go. Tell us about
band?
this.
So this is a brand new season of Warhammer Underworlds.
I'm not doing Underworld
Brings
because
with
of
it,
those.
a new Stormcast warband, which are a magic.
We're gonna
warband,
play Gorka Morka on
and
stream
Levitating
sometime.
rocks and
Yeah.
all.
On the other side is a Zinchian
To hold y'all
warband, which
hostage.
has a disciple of one of the Gaunt Summoners of Zinch, the most powerful sorcerer. So somebody who's
The
been
Gaunt
tutored by
Summoner.
one of Zinch's.
Yeah, Gaunt Summoners are pretty cool. They get some neat
followers,
lore.
basically, and a gaggle of basically bits of wild magic that they've thrown together. So if you thought horrors were wild and unruly, these kind of take it to the next stage. So it's Wyrdhollow. It is a magic-themed season for Warhammer Underworlds, and two really, really nice-looking warbands. This being a new season, it is a really good place to jump into Warhammer Underworlds if you've not played it before. It comes with all the things you need to play. So you've got a board, you get all the dice you need, you get 4 decks, so you get a deck for each of the warbands. You also get 2 more Rivals decks.
Yeah, the Rivals decks. So
Yeah.
right out of the batch, they've got a sort of evergreen format decks as well that are baked into the box.
Yeah, so those decks work with
it's
any
more
of
of
your
a-
existing warbands
more of a
from
board
any
game.
season of Warhammer.
Yeah, so there is a
Had,
deck
and
involved,
also worked
but
really well with the 2 warbands that come in
calling
the
it
box.
magic
I
is
think
um,
the
It's
start
not like
of
a
this
deck
box
builder,
is
right?
that
No,
They're like
it's-
all
Warhammer
pre-cons.
Underworlds has
So you always have a rival
reputation,
deck,
I
which
suppose,
to
of
my
having some of the
understanding
best,
is
most iconic miniatures
like
in
universal.
the
Like everyone can tap into the rival
Yeah,
deck.
look at a bit
That
more
way
detailed,
you can like scrap together a warband and you
Start
don't
off with,
need
Philim's
to buy
Pandemonium.
in. You can
So
like
you've
it's
got
a demo deck
sorcerer
basically.
at the center there, and they have summoned effectively
That's
elements of Zinch.
These models are
wild magic
sick.
manifesting
Yeah.
into the form
That's
of leaping
fucking
lesser
bonkers,
demons.
dude.
So
That
it's
middle
all
right
about
guy
this.
is
Yeah.
Summoning
Just
stuff. That's pretty much the
amazing.
linchpin of the warband.
I like that guy on the far left, the little dude with
Yeah.
the...
He's a cutie patootie,
really
man.
wild,
Excuse me.
unusual warband, not only
Those
in
are
terms of
all
how it looks,
fucking
but also
wild.
how it plays.
It's a really well-named warband as well, and it's hard for me to believe that something this weird could be as adorable as the sea creatures we've seen in previous editions as well. But this is one of those bands where I saw it and immediately had to have it on the miniatures alone, much less the cool rules that we get in the newest edition.
Yeah, I really like the central character. I fill in the sorcerer. The Gaunt Summoners, I think, are really, really nice miniatures, and this has got all the kind of hallmarks of that. It's slightly differently presented. I think Zinx just gives you an opportunity as a painter to just do some really wild stuff. And I think in terms of left field, out there warbands, and just miniatures generally that don't come much more wild than this.
Very accessible too, a lot of organics, a lot of interesting flowing robes, but also a lot of room.
They contrast up very nicely.
Yeah. They do.
Yeah,
I love the sculpted spell stuff.
On the other
they
side of the box, we have Domitan's Storm Coven. So this is a magic-themed Storm host, Stormcast unit.
I really like that rock lifting effect.
Thunderstrike armor,
These
so
also
they
look
fit in
dope.
alongside
Dude,
the
like,
miniatures we had
I kind of want those, and I've only got the starter Age of Sigmar
each one is a great
Storm
character model
Storm
in their
host
right.
guys that came
Some
out
really
like
nice
with
stuff
the
going on with the bases,
what the hell are they
really
called?
nice
The
poses
Cruel
and
Boys? Yeah,
portraits. Again,
the
it's a
Storm
little
host version of the
painting
Cruel
project.
Boys.
I've always been like a
Warhammer
slut for
Underworlds
battle
has
mages,
itself once more.
and this is like
Taking advantage of
that.
that
Good to
theme
know.
in Sigmar.
There we go.
Surprises. I mean, I guess
Model
word bearers kind of have a lot of sorcerers.
They're just chaos battle mages.
Yeah, but like Thousand Suns, I'm surprised you didn't go for
See,
Thousand
also,
Suns.
Can't wait to see the game or something.
They're too magey, not enough battle.
Yeah,
There you
absolutely.
go.
We
okay.
talked about it before. It comes with lots of different decks you can use. So you've got the
Toxic
Rivals decks
Terrors,
for
Salisbury
each of the
Shock.
warbands, but you've got 2 other Rivals decks that you can use with each of the warbands or with any other warband in Warhammer.
I don't know what
Underworlds.
any of
So
that means.
The box set itself is
So
a really
basically, if you and I
flexible
really liked old
gaming
war
box
bands and we
that
wanted
you
to play
can,
this version,
play
and
on
neither
its
of
own,
us were using
you can
Storm
incorporate
Coven or
into other
Pandemonium,
warbands you've
we
got
could
into
like
the
bring our
season,
current war
or
bands
you
into
can
the
use
with
the
those
core of a
decks.
brand
The
new
Seismic Shock and
It's
Toxic
good to see that
Terrors.
more people
Yeah.
are also taking advantage of it and
Interesting.
recognizing that new element of Underworlds that Rivals has really brought to the
The
fore.
Nurgle one
It is, no matter
is
how you use one of those things that has
it's like
flexibility, whether
a
it's just for regular
caster,
communication with
and
you,
then
local
2
whether it's building into that
like basically
city or
Blight
something
Lords that are
else.
just defending
Yeah.
her. It's really cool, and
So-
they
so
have
Rivals,
rules in
for
Age of
those of you
Sigmar
that
where you
don't
can
know,
drop
Rivals
that
for
whole
Underworlds
unit
is
in Age of
effectively
Sigmar.
pre-made
Yeah.
decks. And
They do
you
really
can
cool
choose
stuff
from
with,
either the deck that comes with
Underworlds.
your
So
warband
you
or
just
a selection of
get
other,
one of these pre-made
generic
bands.
decks,
You don't like
and
build
it
your
makes
own
it very
bands.
accessible.
No. It's like
Interesting.
already
You
set
don't
up.
need to have
pre-made.
for loads and loads
Ashton
of
says they painted their Grey Knights the wrong color.
That's true. That would be some spicy conversion right there. That'd be slick.
Yeah, using the like spell effects and stuff on Grey Knights.
All you gotta do is slap some shit on their wrist and give them a cooler backpack, and you're Gucci.
So it's a really
Stormcast are a little too tall
Really
for
nice
Space
book.
Marines,
Collect deep.
or even Primaris, to be
Grand
honest. But
Clash and sort of World Championships, great at Warhammer as well.
definitely
Are they
good.
taller than Primaris?
Yeah.
What do we have next?
I think so
Yeah,
a little
we done
bit.
that we're finished.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's-
Huh?
They're
I'm glad
bullshitting
everyone
me.
got up at 3 a.m. UK time to listen to this amazing preview. We got to see the Lion.
that was pretty cool.
We got to see.
Y'all full of shit.
Don't
They're
yank
lying
my
to us.
chain.
Yeah.
They're lying
Just,
to us.
I mean, just look behind him. That's all you need to know.
No more Yankee my
We
wanky.
did a live preview at Adepticon, an amazing show. I think we've got nothing left to cover, right?
Sons of bitches.
There was the one thing.
Are we actually going to do
We're
that?
going to do it. Yeah, should we roll the video?
No.
Go on.
I'm gonna
Don't be that guy.
scream.
Come on, it's
Werner, fine. Go
Like-
ahead.
Victory. That is what the preachers cry from the spires of their temples. What commanders tell the soldiers in their service. The Indomitus Crusade meets with triumph after triumph. Day by day we tear Imperium Nihilus from the Despoiler's grip. And though we are beset on all sides, with each battle we drive back the mutant, the heretic, the alien. As I speak these words, our forces engage the remnants of Leviathan. Reclaiming lost worlds, atoning for old shames. A crusade to cleanse the stars. to the enemy.
That's a screamer.
Oh, Underworld flamethrower. It's a different looking Carnifex right there.
We routed the Tyranids at Baal. We broke their hive fleet. Soon, their foulness will be but a memory. That is what the preachers say.
Holy shit, boys.
Dude, hold on.
Relief will not save us.
Oh, here it comes. You know what's coming.
Will not protect us. But it is our hope that will damn us.
Oh, yeah!
And the spies and the souls.
Oh shit, is that a shrike?
That's a winged tyrant, I imagine. Oh, fuck.
Our people sing of victory. Victory as the galaxy burns. Victory as the Imperium rocks around us. Victory as humanity rages against the dying of the light. Victory.
They're just gonna fucking tease us.
Boys. Holy shit.
Warhammer 40,000. Who knew? Who knew?
Nobody called that,
Nobody.
actually.
Nobody.
So good. I gotta tell you, growing up my whole life as a fan, there's something about the grim, dark 41st millennium that when you watched, and it was beautiful and it was stunning, but when you watched Sister, Adeptus Sororitas and the Ultramarines crushing some Necrons, there was a little bit of hope. There's a little bit of a glimmer.
That's all gone. That's all gone.
Yeah, that was the grim, dark 41st millennium to a T, and
that was not a happy video.
it's the first time I've seen it tonight, and I am still excited at how not happy it was, actually.
But I think it just gives you like
I'm gonna have to go home and watch that thing.
That shit's gonna be on loop, man. I gotta. Oh my god.
I'm gonna be doing that and then the Chaos Dwarf trailer back to back.
Just generally, Warhammer 40,000 is an absolute.
You gotta get more
awful
Tyranids
place to be
painted,
alive.
Dude, I need a lot more Tyranids.
We'll pull it up after this and
Survival
construct
yeah.
through it a little bit.
Races is measured in.
It
Come
is
on,
awful.
announce
Minutes and
D12s,
It's terrible,
baby,
but it's a wonderful
please.
place to have a hobby.
Is D12 part of that?
People who actually wrote
Oh, okay.
Let's come. I'm gonna talk about
I'll
that
tell
in a
you a
second.
lot, but first.
Oh.
Oh, this is the. Wait, no.
Warhammer 40,000 is the world's most popular tabletop miniatures game. Players command armies of genetically enhanced super soldiers, brutal monsters, powerful aliens, and destructive war machines to play out spectacular battles in the 41st millennium.
Well, our mantra with this new edition has been streamlining.
We've been listening to the community, and that's a large part of why we've decided to focus the game as much as possible.
How can we keep the tactical depth and richness that players love, but examine every rule in the game? Does this need to be here, or is there another way that we can achieve the same result?
To secure victory, you must understand your strengths and the strengths of your enemy.
We've fundamentally changed the datasheets from the ground up,
making them much more accessible and really focusing the rules onto the datasheet themselves. What the team's been able to do with this is really look at every unit in the game, make sure it has a really clear battlefield role and a thing for it to do, and then write the right rules for it.
Your datasheet rules all fit on a single card, and your army rules will fit on a single page.
One of the things we wanted to ensure was that everyone got to play 40k as soon as possible after the edition was launched. So to make that happen, all of the rules for everyone's armies via the data sheets and their army rules will be available for free.
Holy shit!
Huge! A twisted mockery of evolution spawns fresh horrors.
It's a galaxy at war. This is the onset of what the Imperium will regard as the fourth Tyrannic War. This is the largest Tyranid swarm ever recognized in the galaxy, emerging when no one's expected. The Segmentum Pacificus.
To be a warrior of the Emperor in such times is to face an array of nightmares.
What we've managed to achieve with this edition is a game that players of 140,000 will love for its tactical depth and choices.
Just tap drilling like
that's a new Phobos
the end
unit,
result
right?
is faster.
Yeah, maybe. I don't.
All the flavor that
have
you've come to love in Warhammer 40,000.
For players who've been with Warhammer 40,000 for the last 35 years, they've never seen anything like this before. We've never shown conflict at this scale.
Immersive and thrilling new gameplay. Discover a major new narrative in the fourth Tyrannic War. The new edition of Warhammer 40,000
They're doing the cover.
deploys
They're doing the cover
this summer.
Second edition cover.
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be a whole new unit of Primaris guys with like underbarrel flamers and maybe other weapons.
Yeah,
like
that looks
combi
like
weapons.
yeah.
Hot damn.
All the rules for free.
The Warhammer 40,000 studio had to say about some of the changes. It sounds very exciting.
It's very exciting. We'll talk about some of them in depth, in fact, in this very live stream, Eddie. But
D12s! I've been saying it!
Because there's a whole bunch to unpack about the new edition, not least of which is what's going on with the lore of the 41st.
What Hive Fleet did they say that was Kraken?
Leviathan.
Experience actually mean? Is it still the 40k we've come to know and love? As well as what do free rules mean? Because there's a lot more to that than what you might expect.
Y'all still need your buck. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, we'll take some time to get to you, but I feel like the one thing we're missing is, well, the reason we've all gotten into the hobby in the first place. Why don't we take a look at some miniatures?
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Here we go, baby. Oh, and then he just runs that belt and then just goes out in the blaze of glory. That's so beautiful. Oh, baby.
Oh, that looks so good.
That's classic too, man.
That's like exactly what Terminators needed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The classic look, but just like upscaled.
So, Terminators are back.
That's all we
These
get.
are the first
Give us
company
more.
of the Space Marines. Each one of those chapters has Terminators. They are the best of the best of the Space Marines.
Oh, baby.
Look at those thick old
My Dark
boys.
Angels are gonna love this.
Absolutely. What
Yeah,
Terminators
I've always loved fucking
were in your
Terminators.
mind.
Although
These
I do
are
already have like 50 Terminators.
indomitable
I guess you need 50 more, man.
I hope my Marshal that I scaled up a little
fury
bit
unleashed
is on the
upon
same
the
scale as
enemies
these
of
guys.
mankind.
And really brought up to speed with the development of the miniature range as a whole in the new edition, as well as the way the miniatures themselves have been scaled over time. And I'm especially
true. This might mean
excited because as I was
Wahapedia's
watching the
Dunzo.
chat during
Yeah,
some
this
videos earlier,
is
I
probably
saw
their
saying,
counter to
I thought we were
Wahhapedia.
gonna see new Terminator
I mean-
miniatures and- well, you were going to see new Terminator miniatures, and they are stunning. They do all of the justice to the original sculpts. They do all of the justice
Yeah,
to the
that's
feel of
perfect.
Terminators in the
They're
first place, while
they
being
look
brought up to the scale
like the
of
classic
justice of
Terminators.
what
They're
they
just
already are.
updated.
They stand really well in the army. They
Look at that
stand taller than
Stormbolter, dude.
Yeah, that
Oh my
Stormbolter just looks
God.
like it's ready to do
One of
business.
the
That
things
thing
worth
looks like
saying
it'd
about
take out,
these
like,
Terminators is that these
car
aren't
a shell,
necessarily, Primaris Terminators. They're not necessarily firstborn Terminators. Any Space Marine can earn the right to wear a suit of Terminator armor.
Yes,
if they prove
I
themselves,
really think they're
to get promoted to the first company.
That's
gonna,
good. I
eventually-
like that they did what they just said.
Yeah.
So these
I think that's a
could be
good call.
worn by veterans of the firstborn veterans of the previous Tyrannic Wars. They could also be worn by Primaris veterans of the Indomitus Crusade or any other type of Space Marine.
They're
veteran.
just
And this is deep.
So they're just being like, hey, there might be a Primaris in there.
yeah.
You want there to
They're
be?
smoothing over the line between Primaris and Firstborn, which I think is what needs to happen. It just needs to go back to being Space Marines.
And for Primaris Terminators, because they're both. They are, when all is said and done, Terminators, and
Yeah,
there could be anyone inside those
the Terminator suits themselves are relics, right? So these are thousands of years old, and even Belisarius Cawl, after 10,000 years of fiddling around with all the tech he had, couldn't improve on the Terminator suit.
I'm glad
I'm
glad they did that.
You're goddamn right.
Belisarius Call's been getting away with too much shit.
Look there at the Terminator.
They can't make them like they used to.
Every single element of it, all like the pipes and
Look
the
at that
cabling
fucking
and the
Stormbolter,
Stormbolter
man.
and
That's
the they are recognizably the Terminators that you know and love. But
This is
all
gonna
of
make
it,
me
the
expand
detail
my
is so
Black
much
Templar.
fresher.
I'm buying whatever this box is, man. I might buy 2 of
I'm
them.
gonna get all of it, baby.
They really have a presence.
And the Seraphon.
And
Fuck
obviously
it.
the Terminators come with all sorts of
Who'd call the bank? I'm going homeless.
Tony, I'm not gonna be paying rent for a while.
It's like a weird thing to get
it's just great
excited
to see
about, but the back of that model looks
Oh
so
no,
good.
no,
Yeah.
I'm all about you on that.
But I feel
Like when we're doing.
Oh, here we go. The sizing.
spectrum as well. But first, I think
It's on the.
Oh yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think
that's good.
my converted Marshal is gonna be all right.
See in this how their
I'll just
bulk
make a
and their
new one.
size has not rendered the old Terminators to be tiny necessarily, but really fits much more prominently within the range
Oh,
of
that just
miniatures
looks
that
so
are available
good.
for the Space Marine faction to kind of perfectly land in that new wave of miniatures we've seen over the last several years.
Yeah, they look really good as well, facing off.
The
against
helmet's
something
just
the-
like it looks
the more recent Chaos
close enough to
Terminators,
the original.
some of the
It's
kind
like
of
almost
bigger
exactly the
character
same,
models,
just
so
cleaned up.
your,
Yeah.
Yeah,
something like
it,
Primarch,
it-
maybe,
it
like, you
looks
know,
better
Guilliman
proportioned
or the
to
Lion
me.
or something like that, leading a squad of these guys, and obviously every chapter.
It looks like they're about the same size as the new Chaos Terminators.
Special
Also.
brand of Terminator, so the Death
Yeah, I think
Watch,
so.
the Archangels, the first company veterans of the Ultramarines that have their particular beef against the Tyranids.
They do have quite a beef. with
They've got some
Tyranids.
serious beef.
A little bit, yeah.
But so every chapter's Terminators are cool, and these models allow you to be as cool as the Terminators always should have been.
I couldn't agree more. And speaking of the beef that they have for Tyranids, we've shown you a new Space Marine miniature.
Seems
but it
only fair,
seems
doesn't it?
I'm pretty sure that was a new Carnifex in that video.
Oh yeah. It's a redo of the.
This is new Gaunt,
Screamer
right? Some
Killer,
kind of new
whatever it's
Gaunt. Yeah.
Baby, they got the new Gaunts out.
That boy looks
Those
like
are good, dude.
he looks like he's ready to gobble.
Those are good.
Dude.
You going hard,
So,
man?
Brent, Termagants are the most numerous forces of the hive mind. They spawn them out
question
in their
is,
millions and their billions.
Will the
across planets they're
Hormagaunts
seeking
stay
to
up on their
consume.
bases?
That's a
The
good
new
point.
Termagants are,
Don't have to buy any more fishing weights to put underneath my bases, I
First
hope.
model I ever painted.
Is it really?
Eddie, a little known fact is that a Termagant was the first model I ever painted, and now I can't wait to paint millions more of them in the new wave.
So here we are, a closer look at them, and you can
Oh,
see that the
yeah.
level of detail on these is so
Yeah, same kind of
crisp
thing.
and so
Like they
lovely.
kept enough of
And
the
these are
classic
very much
look,
the
but just
vanguard of a
modernized
wave
it.
of Tyranids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tyranid faction is going to get
They're doing a real good
absolutely
job of
spoiled
staying true to the
this
source
year. If
material.
you're a Tyranid fan,
Yeah,
there are
that's-
so many
that's crazy.
new plastic kits. It's the most
I wonder
significant
if they got a
update
bump
the
up in
Tyranid
size
army has ever
too.
done as a company.
It depends on if that's a 28 or a 25 or a 32.
Yeah, hard to say.
Work that's been done to make
I mean, they might show a
That's
comparison.
that looks like it's probably a 25.
and of course, anyone
hope
who
so,
watches
man.
the cinematic trailer should probably watch it.
Maybe
carefully
28.
or rewatch it a few times carefully. But I think one of the things that's most exciting is that there is, there's a natural alien nature to the Terrans, right? They're the most alien of
They're, like,
races to the
unknowable, right?
galaxy,
So they-
almost unknowable. And there's some definite sort of evolution of the range into exploring that sort of very foreign, very alien, very truly unknowable element of the Tyranid with the new range. And I'm so excited to see reactions folk can share even more of the new plastic range of Tyranids in the future.
Yeah, as you say, Mike, if you want a sense of like,
I like
which
that color
new
scheme.
miniatures might be on the way for Tyranids,
That's
check
unique.
out the cinematic.
Is that the
new
There are
Leviathan?
Some returning
Isn't that just
favourites,
Leviathan?
fair to say.
It's a little
It's
different.
Haven't had the time
It's
in the limelight
like the
for a bit,
flesh
but
is
the
slightly
well
pinker.
deserved,
There we
That's what
go.
it- yeah.
Kit.
Yeah, so they're
Yeah, and there
not
are some,
really
there's
bigger,
Some
they're
things
just
we've never seen before.
better
So one of
proportioned.
Yeah,
hallmarks
they got
of
better
Tyranids, I
detail,
suppose,
too.
is their continuous adaptation and evolution in the face of challenges. And the
This is,
the
like, way
Hive
more
fleet is
detailed.
definitely
They've got like ridges on the back now.
Yeah.
Tyrannic invasion.
And we can see here in the scaling again that while the Termagant has definitely come a long way from its very tried and true, the trusty, rusty old plastic
Yeah, look,
kit,
the base
it
is
hasn't
slightly
been
bigger.
That's a
outscaled.
good
It's a
point.
28.
It's still the same Termagant of how it fits into the range.
Don't make me rebase like my 75.
It's the level of detail.
Yeah.
It's really
Gotta
big
get to
changes.
work.
Actually,
I've got
this
quite a lot
makes
of
it
Termagants.
canon.
I've got
I can
Tyranid
run them
about
suckers.
30 Termagants painted
That's
up, I think.
25.
I'm
Those
looking.
are rookie numbers. You gotta
Absolutely,
bump those up.
yeah. They were mostly just to come out of a Tervagan, I think, was what I painted them up for. But they're so detailed. Like the level of crispness on that model, and you can.
And contrast is going to do wonders to those.
Oh yeah, the dry brush is going to be the king with, with those.
Contrast dry brush. It'll just be like.
Absolutely.
Slap chop that bitch.
Besides just the miniatures, there's a whole lot going on in the 41st millennium, isn't there, with the arrival of this new Tyranid range? What does that bode for us in terms of when we talk about the actual development of the universe itself, Eddie?
Yeah, so the new edition of Warhammer 40,000 is the new Tyrannic War. It's the fourth Tyrannic War.
They might say
what
it.
We saw at the end of the
No, they won't.
With the Return of the Lion was the
They
end
really
of that
won't.
story. So that has a really solid, conclusive narrative that
They
kind
better
of has
not.
a big culmination.
If I roll a
a
6,
big
there's going to
showdown
be
between the
D12s.
forces of the Angels of Death. And
You
the
almost did. If it would have
But
done
what we've
that.
done with the new
Oh,
edition,
that.
we've picked up the lens of what's going on in the galaxy. We've moved it to another part. In this instant, it's the western rim of the galaxy.
It hasn't been much that goes on in the Western
Yeah,
Rim.
if you're familiar with your...
typically come from...
Because it keeps getting eaten.
Usually, they come from the east. So if you're familiar with your Warhammer 40,000 lore, you'll know that...
Is there cardinal directions in space?
Yeah, they have...
Galactic West.
The Imperium has made...
Imperium Pacificus.
It was always told as the beginning of
The
this
Imperium
total,
has
the High
enforced
Fleet
that
theory
upon the
behind
galaxy.
it.
Yes, so what we've got now with the fourth Tyrannic War is the forces of the Leviathan. The Imperium has been fighting them for quite a long time, and they thought they kind of got their measure, right? They fought them at Baal.
Broke their fleets at Baal.
Yeah, they thought they might have seen the peak of Leviathan halted, and that's absolutely not true. What we're seeing now is from the other side of the galaxy, this enormous, great tendril, this sweeping mass of Tyranids, the largest invasion we've seen yet, swooping in from the other side.
And it's still part of Leviathan.
Yeah, so Leviathan is kind of crushing both sides of the galaxy. The galaxy is literally in the jaws of High Fleet Leviathan.
This, to
and
me,
it's giving like a sense of the absolute scale and cosmic horror of the Tyranids, which everybody knew was huge, but this is like, we thought it was just coming from one direction, and actually the galaxy is completely surrounded. There are Tyranids coming from all sides.
It's a huge and stunning change for me in terms of reflecting sort of the scope, scale, alien nature, and sort of almost the terminal threat that Tyranid represent. It's not an unknowable, who knows how much more it is. They're so large that the entire galaxy is now surrounded effectively.
Absolutely, yeah. So just another apocalypse to add to the growing list for the Imperium.
Well, should we talk a little bit about
D12?
Let's talk rules, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
It's one of those things we're not sure. Anyone will wonder how much we can talk about the rules.
Simplified, not simple.
Cinematic, but we'll do that. We'll talk a little bit about what does new 40K bring from an actual playing of the game perspective. First one is, we mentioned that the game has been streamlined. It's been simplified. The game is not simple. Let's remember, this is still Warhammer 40,000. It's still the game that we all sort of know and love, and it has all of the hallmarks of Warhammer 40,000 that our community has grown up around, enjoying recreating battles on the battlefield. But from a simplification perspective, there's been an enormous amount of work done to make the game less dense, to make redundancy and minor rules spread across numerous publications less complicated, and to streamline everything into sort of, and we'll talk about it a little bit as we go through a couple of these next elements of the game. A good example is, instead of having, let me think of it, if you were to run a Space Marine detachment today, Space Marines Army, you might have a book that has several pages of stratagems, you have several pages of psychic powers, you have warlord traits, you have relics, you have all these rules and layers of rules. And then if you want them to be...
It's quite a lot to learn, right?
It's a lot. And if you want to make
them
Ultramarines and add that on top, then you've got more pages of rules and stratagems and so on and so forth. What we didn't want to do is get rid of the value of things like stratagems and enhancements to your warlord or to some of your key character units. But they've been simplified down so that when you're playing, you'll have one full page spread open. And on that one full page spread, you'll have a series of stratagems, about 6 on average per army, as well as a series of upgrades to your warlord or to your relics, and a sub-faction rule, effectively, to whatever your army may be. And if you choose to play a different grouping, let's say you go from Ultramarines to the Ultramarines First Company, instead of adding a whole other book to the whole experience, you'll take that one-page spread of rules and replace it with a different one, so that you're always working with a really tight, streamlined set of rules, but still the same depth.
That one-page rules is in shambles right now.
So basically, everybody's getting the World Eaters treatment.
Yeah,
kind of.
And like the way they're talking about it, like you replace the stuff. That's app. There's got to be an app or a website or something.
I mean, there is an app. It's just
but I mean a new app.
There's a greater emphasis for many of those rules moving
an app ain't crap.
Sheets and moving into the overall game experience. We also have key changes to phases. They've been streamlined. We have the morale phase has been moved into the command phase and rejiggered entirely with something called Battle Shock, which we may talk about a little bit more here. The psychic phase has been broken down into the actual data sheets of the rules and abilities.
So it's not a psychic phase
There
anymore.
isn't an actual psychic phase anymore in the game. Instead, psychic abilities are baked into the units themselves. They still work in some ways evocative of how psychic powers work today, but it's not an entire phase that applies in very different ways to different armies.
So, for example, a librarian might have Smite, which would be a ranged shooting attack with a psychic ability.
Yes, with
that's like Horus Heresy, yeah.
At a very high level, with the potential to inflict mortal wounds and other things, but still focused as basically a shooting attack. Whereas, some of the psychic powers that might buff a unit or debuff a unit are more baked into an ability within the data sheet as opposed to, an entire phase oriented around the functionality. And it better reflects the sort of strengths and weaknesses of different psychers. Someone like a Primaris psyker within the Astromel arm might not be as reliable getting off their abilities as Magnus the Red, who's probably not going to fail them in your
so Magnus the Red has a ranged psychic attack, but it's like a really good ranged psychic attack.
Absolutely, and
as well as a range of other psychic abilities
as well, as opposed to just a generic psychic ability that every other psyker has.
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit about morale and battle shock there. I think obviously we'll dive into all of these rules in a lot more detail on the Warhammer community site over the coming
Battle Shock, what they call it in Age of Sigmar.
I think one of the things that I really like about the
yeah.
and the changes is that you don't lose models in morale anymore. You don't have
no, you
don't fail a morale tech and actually just take
morale
units off. It just changes the way that unit interacts with the game.
It does. It works much more like a unit that's been broken up and banged up within a very fast-paced, sort of almost modern firefight, and that those units might not interact as well with rules and with grabbing objectives and other things.
That's going to impact
debuffs.
Additionally, it has much more relevance throughout the game, whereas today you might, kill off most of the models in the unit.
Like maybe they lose OBSEC or something.
Test a couple models survive and they go hide in a corner on an objective all game, and they're basically fine from then on out, even though most of their units been devastated. Battle Shock will have less of an impact on models disappearing from the board and more of an impact on testing their metals.
How reliable is that unit now in the battlefield, basically?
And once a unit has been damaged to a certain degree, it may become less reliable on a regular basis each turn, depending upon how they hold themselves together in the face of the ongoing attrition of a battlefield.
Should we talk about stratagems a little bit?
There's definitely fewer stratagems to remember. There's many more stratagems that are core stratagems that you'll commonly see in gameplay. Whereas whenever you play a faction, you basically always have 6 stratagems available.
Yeah.
And if you decide to play a different variation of that faction, you'll take those 6 stratagems away and replace them with 6 new ones that are for that.
Which is exactly how World Eaters work.
Marines versus Imperial Fists or something similar to that effect.
Yeah, you called
so
that
you have a very common, a list of common stratagems that everyone can use, and that's a little bit bigger than it is now. And then you have a much smaller list of ones that are specific to the faction.
Yep, and they're much more focused on really impactful stratagems you want to use on a regular basis. There's also fewer command points in the game by a significant margin, and so there's much more of a focus on using the right stratagem at the right time, rather than dumping all of your command points on turn 1 into a series of combos that makes it feel like you're playing against, again, the front of the book as opposed to the armies and the data sheets that are on the tabletop. Also, let's be very clear. We've re-indexed the game.
Called it. I told you it was happening.
Absolute mad lads.
And are free on day 1, as are all of the core rules to play the game.
So that means on the first day of the new edition, if I've got an Orc army, which I do, I can get my core rules.
All index rules are free.
Play a game with that army on the first day.
And
they said all the army rules too.
They did earlier, but
all of them are
yeah, see, he just said it.
To play with, and the points are going digital and free as well on day 1.
Oh,
free digital points. All right.
So there's.
What about a list of base sizes?
Indexes, because if you want to have them, you can have actual physical data sheet cards.
So those are a little bit like the War Scroll cards in Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Like Age of Sigmar.
All of the rules are kind of compacted onto a single card.
Yep, and you no longer necessarily need to bring all of them with you if your army only uses 10 data sheets instead of the 180 you have in Space Marine or it is these days. You only need to bring those data sheets with you instead of lugging the whole book, because again, you just have that one open page or a couple of data cards of your actual army rules and stratagems, and then your individual data sheets.
That was a common thing, wasn't it? That we were being told from the community was like, they like the Warhammer 40,000 as a game, but there's a lot of rules to carry around. Right?
What is it on the right?
OC? In terms of the things you have to remember, but also the amount of books that you need to take with you when you play a game.
Yeah, OC. I don't know.
You've got less things to remember, less things to know about your opponent's
movement,
army,
toughness,
the
save.
variety of it.
So
there's no
choices you have.
And army building itself, as we just saw back there, I don't know if we'll go back.
There's no ballistic skill or
before this one.
Weapon skill.
Army building
VS is on the weapon.
is simplified.
I missed that.
When we say it's simplified, it is a much
Strengths
more
are probably just all the
into.
weapons.
And we've done a lot of interesting things with the rules to make it more innovative and more immersive to build a diverse army as opposed to just taking only the best units or on paper the best units. And the way it's been simplified is you take a character, your warlord, you take up to 3 of any data sheet or up to 6 of any basically troop or dedicated transport data sheet. And that's it. And so you need to have a warlord, and then you take up to 3 of most units. Additionally, there's been a great deal of work in putting things like what used to be individual unit stratagems and other abilities into the datasheet itself. And there's a variety of rules that are tailored to work with this type of army building. A good example being that a Space Marine captain might have a really powerful ability, but only one model per turn can use that ability, and so taking a second or third one isn't necessarily a value add. And there's many different units that, instead of there being a stratagem where after your unit shoots and targets a unit, now your other units get a benefit against it, there might be a key unit that provides that buffer benefit to your army. And so working in a combined arms way and leveraging different data sheets into your army in an innovative way is oftentimes, by design, much more impactful and useful and interesting than simply taking 3 of one thing and 3 of the other. So army building has been simplified, but the depth and interest in actually building a diverse force has been a major focus for how the data sheets have been built and how the army rules have been designed.
So every unit basically has got their thing, like they've got the thing that they bring to your army. So
absolutely,
in a way that at the moment you might be relying on stratagems or something to do a particular niche or to fill a particular need. A lot of the time, the unit and the data sheet will allow you to do that. So that's why you take that particular unit.
Much greater focus on your army doing the work of being an army, as opposed to how can I take the most optimal units and then use my stratagems or the sort of front of my book to do all of the work.
Yeah, so I think we had an example data sheet that might be worth talking through some of the things, because it looks quite a lot different from the data sheets we have at the moment.
Data sheets are heavily different, and with the decision to index, there's also the opportunity to revamp the way a data sheet looks and works and is designed. Here you can see the new termagants, which is quite cool. They have an ability that focuses on how the unit behaves and is very thematically tied to them.
I guess one of the things before we get too into it is that the data sheet does look quite different, but actually the effect in terms of what it does in the game is not a million miles away from the way that Warhammer 40,000 works today. So
no, it's going to seem very familiar. It's not a move to something like Age of Sigmar, where every unit hits or wounds on a fixed number or something like that.
Okay.
Instead, it's still very similar to what you'll remember or recognize.
Oh, the weapons have like keywords.
Today. But the ranged weapons and melee weapons and things like that have been moved into their own profile. You'll notice that attacks and ballistic skill and weapon skill and strength.
Yeah, they still exist. They're just attached to the weapon rather than about the fighter.
That allows us to do a wide variety of things with the way that the units are designed, such as something like chainswords or a Space Marine Captain's Power Fist versus a Space Marine Sergeant's Power Fist. Those things can all be somewhat different, and they can reflect the way the individual models work rather than being hard tied to the individual model's attacks or strength characteristics.
So we've got a few questions in the chat about OC. Talk a bit about that.
Objective control. So OC effectively establishes the value that each model in a unit has if it is within range of an objective marker. So a unit of 10, now, things like objective secured as a rule, those are gone. Instead, it's reflected with the individual units. Each model may have a different objective control characteristic. So each termagant is worth effectively 2 points if it's within range of an objective.
I mean, OBSEC was new this edition, wasn't it?
Bigger or more robust, but isn't.
OBSEC has been around for a second.
May only have an OC value.
It was an 8th edition thing. I think it was 7th.
Well, there were like different abilities that gave you kind of like an OBSEC equivalent. Like OBSEC as a rule was new to 9th, I think.
It was an old universal rule in 7th, I think.
One grot doesn't beat one knight, sort of thing.
It's definitely an improvement in the way we design models for function, because again, when you look at things like what does optimal mean, as some of the folks who play the game at some levels focus on, instead you can go, well, this unit may not have the same damage output as another.
Some players at some levels, he says.
But I imagine termagants are going to be relatively cheap, right? So that's probably one of the cheapest.
I don't think they're going to cost the same as a Terminator.
But that's one of the most efficient ways to fill the board with objective.
Absolutely, which is exactly what termagants tend to do. And we've done some things to make the units actually reflected in their datasheet abilities in a very interesting way that reflects how their actual lore works. There's a whole bunch of work done to look at their lore, their IP, and make sure that the abilities actually reflected that. In the case of the scuttling termagants that are very sneaky, can tend to be difficult to pin down. When you get within 9 inches of a unit, the unit gets to move in reaction.
So that's very reactive compared to the current edition.
And there's a ton of addition of reactive abilities.
That's really cool. They can scuttle away, they can scuttle to you.
Datasheet abilities into the game so that you're playing a lot more of an interesting game with your opponent during their turn. So there's less phases. And there is a greater investment in abilities and stratagems, things that work during your opponent's turns, so that the game itself is a much more dynamic experience when you play.
Could you do that for every termagant?
We've got a couple of people noticing slight differences in the stats. So I think one of the things worth saying is that because this is a re-indexing of the game, we've also had the opportunity to look at the things like durability and strength and how common AP is across the entire game.
There are two major changes that are worth focusing on. That one, in general, lethality is down. That doesn't mean that it's down to a degree that might remind someone of editions many moons ago.
You still don't want to stand out in the open.
Probably shot in the open if you do stand in the open. But the game is going to be a little bit less lethal than it is today. Cover is going to work a little bit differently. We're going to talk about
AP is a little bit rarer.
AP is a little bit lower on average. And then there's also a stratification of strength and toughness when it comes to larger monsters and vehicles. Today is very much the case where you tend to see very few things that are different from, like, for instance, toughness 7.
Yeah, you cap out at about 8, don't you? It's very rare to have anything that's higher than 8.
So if your army has a large amount of access to strength 8 weaponry, strength 7 weaponry, it really is able to wound almost anything in the game pretty reliably, and that's no longer going to be the case. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, Eddie, but there definitely is a much higher level of toughness.
Well, there's vehicles that have toughness higher than 10.
Oh, there's vehicles that have toughness higher than 11.
I mean, considering the strength on that flesh war 7.
It's much better.
I mean, not 7, 5.
Having dedicated role units to deal with different threats.
Strength 5,
yeah. As opposed to, gosh, I sure have a lot of strength 8 in this army. I guess I wound everything on 3s or better.
They got bumped up to strength 5 in the most recent codex, didn't they?
Back in the day.
No.
Yeah, but couldn't hurt anything.
Are they strength 5?
They're 5.
Yeah.
But, like,
yeah, so you couldn't, for example, take
the fact that they're talking about
heavily in plasma,
vehicles having toughness over 10. 5 doesn't mean as much as it did.
You know what? Great and Clean One has probably a toughness of 14. I'm just calling it now. I'm just saying, praise Nurgle, baby. All right.
Changed materially in its strength. Its AP might have even changed downward, whereas the units that used to be wounded on 3s by a supercharged plasma gun now may only be wounded on a 5 by them.
Wow, that could be big.
Substantial changes involved there, and of course the data sheets, you're going to see many more of them in the time to come. Eddie, I know we won't talk too much about it so that you can talk all about it.
Yes. Yeah, so we will cover loads and loads of the rules over on the community site in the coming weeks and months. A couple of other things are worth talking about. Boarding actions and boarding patrols from the latest Arcs of Omen books. They are compatible with the new edition of Warhammer 40,000. So if you've been collecting yourself a little 500-point combat patrols of infantry to go diving into Space Hulks, they will absolutely still be able to do that in the new edition. So you can take all those recently constructed armies with you as we go. So that'll be really
all of the boarding patrol rules that are in the Arcs of Omen books are fully compatible. They were designed to be that way so that if you've been investing in those books and the amazing story they've told and the rules themselves, none of those are invalidated by the release of the new edition.
I'm really glad they're keeping those in as like a game mode, because like it's like the perfect way to scratch an itch of an army.
Another
and totally not fall into the hole in it and buy a whole army.
Patrol is a
I would literally never do that.
Warhammer 40,000, a brand new way to play the game. And the way that this works is different from the way Combat Patrol works today. The way it works is that you pitch combat patrols against each other. So the way you choose your army is you pick up any of the Combat Patrol boxes that we make, and that is your force. You can build it however you want out of that box, and it is balanced and pitched against other Combat Patrols.
They're doing what
we call that shit.
Team, where you have a preset list of units.
Yep.
The rules for Combat Patrol are a little bit different from Warhammer 40,000, so maybe slightly simpler. Fundamentally, you are playing Warhammer 40,000 at a very accessible level, and it's really cool.
I guess
for a
we
couple
influenced Games Workshop a little bit.
If you want to start a new army, it gives you a very, very accessible.
GW watches Slam Sector confirmed.
I mean, they've been stealing from us for decades.
Put yourself together 2,000 points worth of models before you can start rolling dice and have a satisfying game.
Yeah.
You can play Combat Patrol and have a really good, fun game balanced against lots of other armies. And the other thing is that if you like to dip your toe into lots of different forces, so you're a kind of hobby butterfly, I suppose, you're like, I like playing with Chaos, but I also
they're listening to us in real time.
Exactly.
It's impressive they made this graphic that fast just for that.
Again, without needing to necessarily collect full forces.
Oh man,
with Combat Patrol.
I think nuance and context are everything for me on this one too, because when we even talk about the differences between Combat Patrol and sort of the full-size 40k game, they're very, very minor. So architecturally, it is the exact same game. And what you might see as a change is because Combat Patrol is meant to be both streamlined and easy to play and also accessible to newer players, you might have a unit that has 2 datasheet abilities, A and B, and they are relatively simple in the Combat Patrol. When it moves up to the full-size 40k, that same datasheet is going to have basically the same abilities, but maybe a little bit more robust or more broad sweeping for the full-size game. It's not going to be completely different abilities, and so Combat Patrol is going to very easily navigate into full-size 40k, but it's built and being
perfect gateway drug
pretty aggressively every day by the studio, so that whatever Combat Patrol you want, and the rules for it are free as well, and will Evergreen be free. You buy that Combat Patrol, it is
Evergreen. You heard it here, folks.
Evergreen.
Damn. I'm more of a deciduous man, but that's all right.
Playing 40k. We've got one question that's popping up a lot in the chat I just wanted to answer is there's some questions there about Forge World rules. Forge World models for Warhammer 40,000 will also get free data sheets that you can use in the new edition. So if you've got your Gargantuan Squiggoth, it's a great kit. Why would you not, right?
Of course Eddie brings up the Gargantuan Squiggoth. It's one of the things we talk about all the time.
You can still.
So all Forge World rules will be taken care of. They'll be free, of course, just like all the index rules are on day one. It's worth mentioning we have a new app.
Yep.
It works.
They're listening to us in real time!
Which is one of the important things we're really excited about, is a fully functioning army builder. All of the rules available in it again, all of the points free and digital on day one.
Yep.
And so we're fairly excited about all of
No, apologize for the old app.
I think earlier he said one that actually works now.
More easily gotten into.
I think he said that.
If you play today, you'll be able to play fully with no caveats or asterisks on day one of the new edition.
One of the questions that's
They're taking WARHAMMER and Battlescribe out behind the shed and just putting one in the back of their skull.
Oh shit, Crusade.
Very big part of it.
There will be some ways to, if you've been crusading for the past 3 years and you've had a good time, you've taken your troops through all sort of battlefields to the distant corners of the galaxy, there will be some ways to port that army into the new edition, which is pretty cool. There will also be some brand new
transfer your old Crusade.
So, you know, the new edition starts with the 4th Tyrannic War. That might give you a sense of where some
bit of a hint
where some of the first Crusade expansions might go. But if you enjoy Crusade, and lots of people do, there is still definitely ways to engage with that in the new edition.
It's fair to say that Crusade was one of the big hits of the previous edition, and I don't think it's going anywhere. We're doubling down on it on all fronts, really, whether it's in our event scene with things like the Grand Narrative, whether it's in organized plays, we start to connect more of a narrative element to that, all sort of globally, or whether it's, of course, in the revitalization and release of effectively Crusade 2.0. But we don't want to spoil everything on just the first preview. We'll
no, go ahead.
Eddie and his team all the time in the world to share all this excitement.
Come on.
Yeah, so new edition of Warhammer 40,000 will be coming in summer. We have a few weeks and months yet before we get there, so keep checking out warhammercommunity.com. You can sign up to a newsletter to find out all the news as it happens. We've got loads of stuff to show you, including new miniatures. We'll talk about all the new rules we've mentioned in loads more detail, all the new lore, everything.
We're going to drop it at the very end. Don't
follow
worry.
it on warhammercommunity.com.
When are you going to drop it?
Talk your
all those. That data sheet had a 5-up save, so if that's on a D12, then that's a pretty good save.
Hey, listen, man.
We've actually done it twice now, once live for Adepticon and once live for all of you. It's been a pleasure. Eddie, thanks for having me.
Did you have a favorite? Obviously, the new Warhammer 40,000 is pretty cool. But did you have like a favorite thing in the other previews you had?
I was a big fan of the line.
It's pretty cool.
It's always cool to see when a product comes up. But honestly, I'm going to tell you that the Seraphon, I mean, they scratch an itch for me that connects to everything from classic movies of yore to owning every single dinosaur book growing up. And it's one of the armies that I'm actually actively collecting and painting now. So I can't pick just one thing. Suffice to say, it's an exciting summer and year to come for Warhammer.
Yeah, it's going to be really good times ahead for every single game system. Basically, is getting treats in the next few months.
Thanks all. We won't keep you up any longer. You can hear more in the future. Eddie, thanks for having me.
No problem. See you guys.
Holy shit!
Toodaloo. All right,
that's exciting. Okay, so how did what you saw there for 10th edition line up with some of the maybe wilder, deeper, 50-page long rumors that you've seen?
I got to put on my Larry David to get real conspiracy theory here. All right.
I guess I can pop these off.
Yeah. So, there's been some leaks. There's been some things dripping about.
They were not leaks. They were baseless, wild, weird shit.
Did any of that line up with that 50-page document?
It is compatible with what we just saw. It is. I will say that. They didn't talk about.
I'm gonna hard disagree.
What? I haven't read this. Do you want to explain what we're talking about?
Yeah. Okay. So, posted on the DACA like leaks thread, like just basically it's the Wild West. You can look at everything. There's a 50-page document of a chat transcript that I can only describe as surreal, in which two men, one of which is in a terrain building group that sells terrain commercially, and the other is in a supposed secret playtesting group for 10th edition.
Allegedly.
So the playtester group guy, in order to get a €40 discount, gives hints and rules and answers questions in a very poor explained manner for the guy who makes terrain. It's a really bizarre slice of life conversation that, I'm fascinated with, and we're going to do more with it, hopefully. Unless it like completely gets invalidated, in which case I have no idea what I'm going to do with that.
Well, Jordan seems to think it's already been invalidated.
I don't think it necessarily is.
I thought it was sus to begin with.
I mean, that's what makes it so alluring.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not exciting, but Jordan, you're saying that there were some things in this that kind of hard proved it wrong?
Yeah, I mean, in that thing they talked about stuff like toughness going away, right? And it becoming like Age of Sigmar shit.
The toughness going away thing, that was like the hard confirm of toughness going away was another post that wasn't this guy. What this guy talks about is like you have advantages and disadvantages that get stacked back and forth, right? So you have a net total of advantages and disadvantages. And then you roll your dice, and you're looking for your target number primarily. And anything below your target number misses. Anything above your target number could be a miss, or you can combine two of those misses into a glance, right? So you always, like a Space Marine shooting a bolt rifle, right? He's always going to be getting pure hits on a 3. However, if he has two disadvantages, the 3 and the 4 are regular hits. The 5 and the 6 are glances, in which case, unless you have two of them, they become misses, right? So you can half hit round down.
We didn't see anything remotely close to that in this video.
But it's not incompatible yet.
All right.
I'm just saying. I'm holding out hope.
Well, we'll have to see on that.
Yeah.
But other than that, Jordan, what do you think of that lion, baby?
That model
That's
is
a spicy boy.
Incredible.
Mm.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I am amped to put that dude on the table.
Yeah, dude.
I wish they gave us a release time frame because I need him now.
It's probably coming.
I mean, it's probably pretty soon because it's tied into the Arcs of Omen, you know.
So the Farsight still has to come out, but that's dropping probably in a week or two. And then I think
Snickrot is in the Farsight book, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So is there going to be another block?
Farsight and then Lion.
Mm-hmm. It's Farsight and Lion.
It's probably
it's like a month.
There's going to be like a box set with Tau and Orcs, probably, and then I guess there's going to be a box set with Dark Angels, and if he's fighting Angron, maybe more World Eaters.
They just had a Dark Angels box set.
I know, but I mean, like,
I don't think they're going to do it.
I don't think they're going to come out with a Tau Orcs box either.
You don't think so? I mean, they had the Vashtor Dark Angels versus Vashtor and his people box.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I don't think when Mortarion got released, I don't think there was a special box for him. I don't know about Gilliman, and I don't know about Magnus, but I'm pretty sure Mortarion didn't have a limited edition box when he came out. He was just like, hey, you want the privileged owner of friggin' Primarch, you're going to buy this box. So I got a feeling that's probably what they're going to do there, because, yeah, Dark Angels box has just come out with Vashtor in it. And a new, what's his name? That new guy that came in the Vashtor box? Azrael?
No.
Azrael,
Azrael.
Yeah.
Oh, the new Azrael sculpt? Yeah.
I have to imagine they're going to release the Lion in a larger box set first before they release him by himself.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You don't think they're going to try to get people to buy a bigger box to get him?
I wouldn't be surprised if they just straight cold release him.
The only thing, the biggest thing that puts me off of that idea is the fact that they literally just released a Dark Angels box.
Yeah.
But what if it's the Lion and a bunch of new Terminators?
The new Terminators are coming in the 10th edition.
Yeah, so there's going to be an Indominus-style 10th edition box that's going to just eviscerate my wallet, because I'm probably buying 2 of them. Because I'm in Tyranids as well, I just haven't pulled them out on stream yet. You guys buckle up.
He's been talking about Tyranids for a while. I mean,
you're right. Yeah. You saw him on Board Control. I like Kraken.
Yeah.
They haven't seen a full field of glory yet.
Yeah, I mean, my Dark Eldar haven't seen a full field of glory yet.
That's fair. But yeah, I'm buying that box because I'm in both armies, so shit.
I'm going to wait till the Terminators are solo and pick up some of those bad
That's totally fair, man. We're going to see some crazy stuff. Oh my god, that just released trailer is just...
Oh, I'm going to go home and watch that video.
Oh yeah, let me...
With like a glass of wine.
Yeah, pull that back up.
Whip that thing back. Whip that thing out.
You guys keep chatting and I'll try and check that out.
But yeah, those Seraphon, and we don't do a lot of Age of Sigmar on here yet.
Yet.
And also, I don't know what Jordan's thinking, but when the Old World drops, which... They didn't say anything about it in this. I was kind of... I was low-key hoping they might mention it.
I think with Warhammer World, because Warhammer World is what, like 2 months away?
That's true. They might be saving that for that.
Yeah, probably.
Because I've heard rumors that Old World is coming out, or might be coming out later this year.
I would be surprised if it came out later this year, because they seem to want to release one new game system every year. Last year was Horus Heresy. This year is going to be obviously 10th edition. So I think next year is going to be.
I think they've doubled up. Last time I brought this up, you said that, and then I went and looked it up, and there was like something that dropped in the same year.
That's fair.
But it's been like 4 years since they first announced it. I want to say something like that.
They've been working on it for a hot minute.
Yeah.
I just I think it was a Square Basis thing that they posted like 5 ever ago. Mark, if you're still foaming at
Mark
the mouth,
probably has a detailed
about
diary.
Age of Sigmar, yeah.
But we might do some Age of Sigmar at some point. I definitely want to do some Old World when that happens. I forgot where I was going to go with this. Oh yeah, the Seraphon. The Seraphon look really dope.
They do.
That box set's going to tempt me real hard.
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah, we got to put the cans back on.
Sure do. Got to hear them bolters.
Got to hear that assault cannon go BURT! Goldman's just kind of having a bad day. He's not feeling great about all this.
Yeah.
Victory.
Are you able to pause it on the fly?
That is what the preachers cry from the
When
spires
action
of
goes
their
down, we gotta go
temples.
frame by frame, baby.
We gotta get
What
close up on
commanders
that,
tell the soldiers in their
Screamer
cells.
killer, yeah.
Oh yeah, that crazy leak
The
talked about
Indomitus
phases
Crusade
being, like,
meets with triumph
individual units.
after
It's just not
triumph.
true.
That could.
No, they invalidated
Day
that.
by day we tear Imperium Nihilus from the despoiler's grip. And though we are beset on all sides,
Still holding on, that D12,
with
baby.
each battle we drive back the mutant, the heretic, the alien.
Alright, so that is an incursion.
As I speak these words, our
that's Phobos?
forces engage the
I don't
remnants
think
of
that's an
Leviathan.
incursor. I think that's a new
Roll it back,
Phobos
I promise you.
Roll it back.
It's 4 minutes long. Alright, so.
Oh yeah. He's right.
Yeah, so he's got the Smokies on left breast, and he's got the combat knife. That might be the lieutenant, honestly. The Phobos lieutenant.
But there's like that new Flamer unit that they were showing that was also like Phobos.
I
think this guy is part of that.
I don't know, man. He looks like a straight up incursor because I think that's a different guy.
Well, let's get to one of those new flame guys.
You can see the flame guy in the background.
Yeah, but they're mixing and matching. You know, they're like boys on the field.
As I speak these words, our forces engage the remnants of Leviathan.
This guy's just running in. Oh. So that guy has different armor. Flamer guy has different armor, straight up. Like he doesn't have any Smokies on. Phobos
It's
usually
kind of
have
hard to see.
Yeah, but it
The-
lights
the-
up.
I'm
No,
pretty sure
that is just straight Primaris armor.
Yeah. There's some better shots later on. But see, that guy's just a flamer. There's the combi bolter guys later on that I think might be
Reclaiming
Phobos also.
lost
I think that's
worlds.
these guys, right?
Atoning for old shame.
Those guys are.
A
Oh, that guy's
crusade.
got a combi flamer.
Cleanse the stars.
Yeah, that's just Mark 10. Oh yeah, there's
Taking
that
the
boy.
fight to the enemy.
So you can go frame by frame with like I think it's I'm trying to remember the buttons to go frame by frame on YouTube back and forth.
Is it QE?
No, it's not QE. It's like I think a comma or semicolon. Hit like comma or semicolon. You can go like frame back, and I think it's really cool.
Oh,
yeah, there we
Oh yeah.
there we go. Comma and period. Yeah, so we can just like. Oh, dude.
Get him when he's spreading them arms.
Yeah. Oh, he eats like plasma to the chest.
Yeah, that's like that looks like a reimagining of the original Carnifex. I still have my old Carnifex.
Yeah, dude. It's got the
Hell Screamer,
forearms.
whatever they called it.
Yeah.
He's absolutely obliterating.
Dude, can you
that dude.
imagine you freaking boil one of those with crab legs?
Oh yeah.
Tastes so good. Oh yeah, he just screamed all over that guy.
See this guy. What is this guy?
That's a really good question.
Because that's Phobos armor, right? No.
Yeah.
Wait. That's like weird half and half.
Yeah.
Like kind of Phobos, kind of not armor.
It's hard to see. Oh man.
It definitely looks like there's going to be some sort of new.
Oh, he's got that Tyranid shit on his arm.
Oh, it might be like a Tyranid hunter unit.
Oh, that's sick.
Which would explain like the flamethrower bolter combo. That's like.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's like perfect fuck Tyranid.
Yeah, see, that's like half Phobos, half
The legs would help us out a lot. It's really hard to see the legs.
Yeah. Oh. Yo, let me see them legs. Oh. No,
that's new. That's new legs.
That looks more like Phobos legs
I think those are Phobos legs
Mark
right there.
10 legs to me. It might be something new, but they got that like taper.
Yeah, but they've got like that weird kind of like boot shit.
Yeah.
I guess Phobos kind of have that.
But Phobos kind of have that, but Intercessor legs don't taper in like that. They're just like they're the cans.
Yeah, they get chunkier, I think, as you get.
These are like Phobos combi, like Tyranid Hunter Marines.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
I mean, this could just be something for the video.
True.
It's possible it's just something for the video.
Although I think
the Tyranid bits are like just for the video.
Maybe. In the 9th edition video, they did show a lot of like all of the models that they showed were also in the box.
Like I would be surprised it's not.
This like what we're seeing in this video is the launch box.
Yeah. They're gonna have like the combi Marines versus Tyranids with some
shit. You know what this means though is they probably are getting rid of Primaris and Firstborn keywords.
I believe that.
Combined with Terminator armor,
I believe that
unification.
completely.
Yeah, they're going to unify all the...
And they need to, because Primaris is only ever a mechanism to get true scale Marines on the board.
We routed the Tyranids at Baal.
At least that's my theory.
We broke their hive fleet.
This apostasy goes down with a fight, boy.
Their foulness will be but a memory.
Genes.
That is what the preachers say.
Look at him go!
You can hear like Gulliman's like contempt for like the state of the Imperium.
Oh yeah, he hates the propaganda machine with the passion.
He needs like a big bad lion to roll in and.
I like that they're showing.
That's Dreadnought, dude.
I had heard.
No, it's not. That's a Redemptor body.
Yeah, I had heard rumors that there was going to be a new Redemptor with the missile launcher and like.
It's a las cannon Redemptor.
Yeah, I had heard rumors that that was on the horizon as well. Yeah, 10th edition boxes.
Hold on, they had new biovores in there. Rewind that to where that thing shoots the goo. Story of my life. Hold on, one more. A little bit. All right, yeah.
Showing that goo spurt.
So, yeah, these guys that are shooting the launching things, oh man, it's so hard to see. Yeah, that is something, that's probably a redo of the biovore. Oh yeah. Or actually, those might be...
I think they should redo the biovore.
Those might be Hive Guard too, because the Hive Guard have those impaler things.
No, but the Hive Guard look like crabs, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably all getting redone.
Yeah.
It's full range refresh.
It'll be interesting. All right, let her ride.
Wait.
Oh yeah, wait.
Yeah, that's a biovore thing right there.
Yeah,
it's less tragically phallic than the current model.
Yeah, he's still gushing, but
yeah,
he's kind of looking into it. It's weird.
This beacon shit is just.
Oh no, that's an intercessor right there.
I think that's our same guy.
No, look at his boots, man.
No, look at his shoulders are different and everything.
Yeah, his shoulders are different. He got them big boots.
What is this Tyranid model?
That looks like
a lictor, maybe.
Look at the head.
No.
What the fuck is that head?
Ymgarl lictors have those heads.
Or it's a Ymgarl gene stealer.
I don't. That ain't a gene stealer.
Why not?
It's too big.
No, gene stealers are pretty
Is
big.
it? I don't.
Oh no, that's a lictor. That's a lictor.
Yeah,
look at that. Look at that huge ass claw.
Yeah,
that's a lictor claw right there.
New lictor. New lictor.
Lictor confirmed, dude. Oh hell yeah.
Lictor.
He gets that lictor. He's give me that yummy garl in the lictor.
Man, he's giving that lictor a bolter snap.
I love the homing beacon. That's such a cool.
Will not save us.
Haven't shown off.
Lies will not protect us.
Yeah, that guy had he had a combi melta.
Yeah.
Popping off.
None of this stuff like exists currently, right? Am I crazy?
No, yeah, you're right.
The The Black Templars have Flamer Primaris.
Yeah, they do. It's called like an incinerator.
Oh wait, do normal Marines not have a Flamer?
No.
Yeah, Black Templars have a Pyre Blaster.
Yeah,
Pyre Blaster. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot that other Marines don't have that.
No.
Yeah, they fucking rock.
But it is our hope.
Oh, the Ripper Swarms, baby. Look at them. Oh, they're so cute. Oh, that's what gets the Apothecary. Oh, he's got the grenade out.
The Apothecary, I think, was a Blood Angel.
That will damn us.
He had an Ultramarine.
Oh, did he? There was a Blood Angel's banner in there.
Yeah. Look at that ass hand.
One thing I wish the Chaos Marines had was Reaver Autocannon.
Instead of ass can, it's ass can't pass here.
In this spy.
See that? Okay.
That's not a Hive Guard.
I think that's a Winged Hive Tyrant.
That's too small to be a
Hive
tyrant.
Tyrants are way bigger than
Yeah,
that.
alright, so, okay.
That's too small to be a Tyrant?
That's too small to be
Yeah.
a tyrant. Tyrants are like bigger than
Turn
Dread
around.
Knights,
There's
man.
a tyrant right behind you.
Yeah.
I literally have
Yeah,
one,
but I
like,
mean,
right
look how
behind
big he is compared.
No.
That's huge.
So here's the thing.
That's big enough.
Forge World made a variant kit of the that's not a Hive Tyrant.
Look how small the Terminator is in his little paws.
But Hive Tyrants have more arms. Hive Tyrants do like a different shit. So he's
got 4 arms.
This is probably a Shrike Prime, is what this is.
Okay.
So a Shrike is the winged variant Forge World kit of warriors that you used to be able to buy that haven't been around in a long time. And you can make a Prime version of...
Oh, no, he does only have 2 arms, doesn't he?
And they're like weird scythe arms.
All right.
Which, I think that's what the Shrikes have, right?
They can. They can have mandibles, they can have scythes, they can have all sorts of stuff. To be fair, so can the flying Hive Tyrant, but... I think, Hive Tyrants are bigger than that, man.
Yeah, Hive Tyrants also have 4 arms.
As in the slums.
Well, no, that one only has 2. No, I still think that's a Winged Hive Tyrant.
I don't think a Hive Tyrant's dying to... Well, no, this guy doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't kill. He doesn't kill this guy. That Tyrant's only got...
Well, that's because he's got the big gun, which is his other 2 arms.
This one?
Right?
He ain't
Didn't
got
I put
no
the
gun.
big gun on him?
No. He's just got wings and 2 arms.
Oh, he's got the sword and the whip. The bone sword and the
I don't know.
Spine whip or whatever.
I don't know.
I don't play Tyranids, man.
That's big enough to be that guy with a new scale Terminator in his hands.
That looks too small to me, man. I don't know.
No, that's Tyrant sized. And look,
dude, that still looks too small to me. Because
you think
that's too small for sure.
You think a Tyranid warrior could rip a Terminator in half with his bare hands?
Yes.
Yes.
We will see such events happen in Space Marine 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I love the axe representation.
That might be a new Neurotrope.
That's a big ass psychic Tyranid right there.
Yeah, so Neurothropes and a Zoanthrope is like a psychic brain floating around thing.
Yeah.
It has too many tentacles for what I think current Zoanthropes have.
It might just be something new.
Yeah.
It might be because what is the HQ version of a Zoanthrope? Is that a
Neurothrope? Yeah.
Yeah. It might just be a new Neurothrope.
It could be. That Neurothrope kit is actually fairly new as far as the Tyranid kit goes, but although they might just be doing a total refresh on the whole stinking thing.
I mean, it's gonna be like the Necrons, I think.
It sucks because the Carnifex kit right now is dope as hell, man. Like, there's so many bits in that thing. See that thing go is a crying shame.
I've thought about dabbling back into Tyranids because I played them back in 3rd edition a little bit.
They're buck wild.
And I would just be Neurothrope, Zoanthrope heavy, just like.
Now, the Zoanthrope kit can also make a Venomthrope, which does have that amount of tentacles, but those things are obsessed with spreading.
That's definitely not Venomthropes.
Yeah, no.
The crown thing, I've never seen before.
Yeah, that's
I think
new.
this is a new unit.
I'm pretty sure everything is going to get revamped.
Also, it's side
I
bodies.
don't think this is a revamp. I think this is a new unit altogether.
Oh yeah, it might be. It looks too big to be a Neurothrope from what I remember Neurothropes looking like.
It looks about the right size.
It's thicker, isn't it?
It's like wider. It's got that like weird carapace thing on the back.
I don't know what the
Neurothrope
hell that is.
have.
Yeah, it's carrying its own like personal rock or some shit.
It's got a die though. That's all.
And then it's got like the two. Are those like? Those are like little brain things too.
I think those are just like farther back. I wouldn't be surprised if that's just
no, dude. Those are one of them's in front of it. You can see it. Like
really?
Yeah, I think those are probably just Zoanthropes, right?
No,
those aren't Zoanthropes.
Whatever that is, that's tiny.
Yeah.
Okay. They're like little buddies.
They're doing the Necron thing. You know how the Necron have the buckets that escort the.
That's the Loud King. Get it?
Our people sing victory.
Man. He just died.
Yeah, he just got fucking fried,
he just got
man.
blasted.
Oh, that poor librarian.
Yeah, this isn't a hopeful video.
Galaxy burns. Victory as the Imperium rocks around us. Victory as humanity rages against the dying of the light.
That picture right there, that scene, you think that's going to be like the cover of...
That'd be cool. I mean,
like,
they're obviously...
Like an artistic rendition of that?
A hill of Space Marines making a last stand while they get swarmed is
You think they'll ever do that on a book?
They would never do that.
Never, not one.
Rages against the dying of the light.
Look at that fresh-faced, young, old, little Primarch boy, Gilliman. He needs a big brother.
He's got to clear his notifications. Jeez.
Victory.
He needs a big, beardy brother to come rolling in and save him from all these nasty little bugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Hot damn, y'all.
Well,
that's
shit.
Crazy as hell. So, no D12s, but I'm crossing my fingers and holding out. I'm kidding. It would be cool, though. What if they did D12s, but you just like a 1 or a 2 counts as a 1, and a 3 and a 4.
So D6.
Is this fun for you?
It's very funny. I love it. Oh lordy. Wait. What's chat up to?
Yeah. Anybody say anything in chat?
Oh yeah, we got the Tyranid Hunter guy, probably a Primaris Lieutenant.
I mean,
they've never done it before.
That's eternally a safe bet.
Oh yeah,
they've never done it before.
Yeah, that librarian might be a psychic Primaris Lieutenant, honestly.
Do we think Bobby G is going to be in the launch box?
No. It's going to be all new sculpts, baby.
I think the launch box for the Marines, I really don't know for the Tyranids, but for the Marines, it's going to be the Missile Las Cannon Dreadnought. It's going to be a squad of Terminators. It's going to be a squad of the Combi Boys.
Mm-hmm.
The Librarian's probably the HQ.
The Librarian's the HQ.
Yeah.
And maybe another squad of like standard intercessors.
There's probably a lieutenant in there too, because usually when they do these boxes, these big boxes, there's 2 HQs.
Yeah. Okay. So lieutenant,
librarian,
combi squad, maybe like an intercessor squad.
Terminators,
and dreadnought.
Yeah.
And then the Tyranids, I imagine they'll have to be like some Termagants, a Carnifex. And I guess maybe
the brain bugs, maybe the biovores, maybe the Screamer Killer, and Shrike Prime /
whatever that winged thing was. Yeah. I still think it could have been a tyrant, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't notice it. Somebody's saying in chat that the Combi Flamer guy, the like Primaris Combi Flamer guy, had like a Blade Guard helmet on.
Oh,
so
did
that's
he?
interesting.
That's very interesting.
I didn't notice that.
Huh.
Well, some of them had like a gas mask, I thought.
Yeah, so all the Phobos guys.
The gas mask thing is like Phobos.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's on like most things. Like in Horus Heresy, when they take off their helmets, you can have the gas mask thing.
The Combi Melta guy had a helmet on.
There was like an intercessor guy that had the like Combi Flamer too.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And he had like the red helmet. I remember it was like a red helmet. I don't remember it being like Blade Guard, but I can go back and look.
That's fascinating.
I think he was the Combi Melta guy.
You're lying.
That could be the lieutenant.
Damn, Lion Ryan out here.
Ryan.
Ryan the Lion.
Roll the footage back, damn it!
I don't
Fucking prove me wrong.
I don't care enough. I'm just excited.
I'm gonna screen cap it when I get home, and I'm gonna make you all cry, just like Bobby B.
I'm looking.
What if they were just like, the Baratheons are here too?
The Baratheons, space Baratheons.
Hell yeah, dude! That'd be a dope chapter. You're just like the stag in space. You know?
I don't think there's a chapter that has a stag as a symbol.
That'd be raw as hell.
There's not a chapter with a horse as a symbol either, as far as I know.
The fucking the
space horses.
The space tullies. This would be like we're gonna astral trout your ass. That'd be cool.
I don't think there's very many aquatic Space Marine chapters. There's one new one.
Isn't there the Krakens?
There's that one new one that's the Krakens. It's an interesting feel to it. But anyway,
that was wild.
Yeah, that was exciting. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you all enjoyed our commentary.
Hold on, I'm rolling back the footage.
Roll it up there, man.
I can't.
We've crossed the Rubicon.
I've killed our ability to do that.
Yeah, we crossed the Rubicon there. You're just gonna have to hear it from on high.
He has a flamer that looks a lot like a Melta for some reason.
Oh. Yeah, it's the combi Melta guy. I bet you that's the lieutenant. I bet you the lieutenant's got like
a sergeant, right? Well,
because at the end, the red helmet guy is on the hill in their last stand with like one of the Terminators and some mix of the other guys.
Lieutenant helmets are like white stripe.
Didn't he have a white stripe?
The lieutenant helmets are white stripe.
I didn't remember if they were like white stripe with like the black border.
They are. Okay. No, with the red border. It's white and red are the lieutenant stripes. The cover of Space Marine 2 is like just a real hero shot of a lieutenant helmet, basically.
Space Marine 2 also, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I hope it's got some dope multiplayer. Because I miss...
I can't tell. I can see that like he's got a red helmet on. I can't see...
If it's full red, then usually what that denotes is like...
That's sergeant, right?
Not necessarily. It also denotes like
lieutenants are red stripe, aren't they?
Special weapons. Lieutenants are a red and white stripe. Hold on, I'm just gonna Google this real quick.
Sergeants are red helmet, and Ultramarines, as far as I know.
This is all whip our phones out.
Ultramarine Sergeant helmet color, yeah, they red. Ultramarine Sergeants have red helmets.
It used to be a mark of censure.
Let's see here.
So yeah, it looks like
helmet color.
Looks like lieutenants have
a
red stripe with white on the outside.
Mm-hmm. And usually a little skull at the front.
Mm-hmm. So who knows? We'll find out.
I mean, this is a sergeant.
Yeah, he's a sergeant.
It's a sergeant getting smoked.
I can't like get a clear enough look at his helmet to tell if it's a Blade Guard helmet or just like standard Primaris.
Yeah, he might be like there might be a option to give like a sergeant. Can you give a sergeant like a combi weapon in regular Space Marines now?
So vanilla Space Marines, yes, you can give. So
not on Primaris, not on like
Primaris.
Correct, yeah. Vanilla Space Marines. So one thing that I'm wondering, are you going to be able to put like 2 vanilla Space Marines and 3
This is
Primaris
interesting.
models?
So he's running with that Phobos squad. So like, are you going to be able to? Is this squad going to be like 4 Phobos and 1 standard like Mark 10?
I kind of doubt that. I feel like mixing armor gets a little weird.
There were some other Mark 10s in that cinematic that weren't.
Hold on, I'm about to look at this like pack of 5 that's like running up. Hold.
Bracing for impact.
Hold.
Jeez. Lord have mercy, you're about to bust.
He's like with this one squad.
I mean, it's all in the heat of combat also, so.
Yeah.
You know.
Was the heat of the moment.
And then that fucking Dreadnought runs up.
Yeah, that Dreadnought be looking sexy. I thought the first time I watched it, I thought that was like the old school vanilla one. I was like, dang, they're showing it love, but no.
I mean, they're all reimaginings of it, just like scaled up.
It's got the old school DACA Dreadnought build though.
Yeah,
Last cannon missile pods.
I've heard people have been talking about that's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
So it's exciting.
Either way, my blood's pumping and my adrenaline is dumped. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that very special experience with us, because I know we enjoyed it.
It definitely slammed my sector.
For sure. We'll be sure to do more of these every time they do more reveals. So, you know, take down your predictions and warm up your D12s because there's no telling what's coming up next. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you for watching. Have a good night.